you wanted to be here, right? So talk to me about what you're looking to hope to get out of today.
Learn more about building networks and using command and creating better relationships.
Okay, so networking, command, and we're gonna fill this one way. I was hoping, you know, the pink one would wear the brand of flamingo, so like, we're kind of, so he said networking, you said building better relationships. Anybody else? Or you just came here to just referrals? Okay.
Don't say food.
Be referral based. Well, I'm gonna drop a bold law on y'all. I've taken bold 13 times in 6 years. Anybody taken it more than 13? Okay, well, how you participate in here is how you participate everywhere, right? So this is a participation class. I'm not here to just like talk at you for 3 hours. I would love so much interaction as possible. So tell me why you're here. So building relationships, getting referrals, what else?
Systemizing it,
Okay, so when you say systemizing it, what do we mean by that?
like something that's sustainable that I don't really have to think about, like I set it up and then. Yeah.
My girl Tamika. So she's the MCTT, and she just won the regional award for the #1 MCTT in the whole state of Georgia region. And she's gonna be joining us via Zoom. Anything else? There's only gonna be one time I'm gonna kindly ask that you take out your phones. Oh, I need to turn this on. Oh, I know why. You would think we would have Zoom figured out by now. You know, and you said next button, what am I hitting? There we go. This is the only time I'm gonna ask you to take out your phone. If you could please take out your phones and scan that QR scan. If you are not on social media, especially Instagram, then it's a little harder. I have some of my accolades up there just to kind of give you some credibility, because I only like to listen to people who have receipts. I think in this industry, you have to be really careful who you guys are getting advice from. When you guys are having water cooler talks or whatever it is, be very careful who you're getting advice from. Ask them where their receipts are. You know, I have some of I'm the head PC coach for 3 offices, and sometimes they're like, well, I'm working with this agent. I'm like, both of you are brand new. Who's telling who on what they should be saying? Where's the receipts, right? So here's my receipts, bold, I'm 13 times. I'm your regional ambassador for KWYP, 40 under 40. You'll see 4 or 5 times, I believe. I think that's actually old, I think from last year. I'm a 3rd generation realtor. I've been in for almost 9 years, which is crazy to think. I never wanted to get into the business. I'm actually a preschool teacher turned nightclub manager. I ran high-end nightclubs and restaurants for 10 years, which is why I love marketing and branding so much. And I found a passion through helping others. And I'm able to use my teaching degree, but then also really show you guys how I was able to build a business that was truly just based on referrals, right? So I average about 30, 40 million a year. I've never paid for a lead before. I think I've like 5 million pennies just from last month. So I run multiple different businesses. However, what I can tell you is I'm a certified referral trainer for the last 6 years. Who here has ever read the book, 7 Levels of Communication by Maher? Like 4, write the book down. 5, write it down. 7 Levels of Communication. What that book is it's literally a fable. It's written by was America's #1 most referred agent, Maher. And I got invited when I first got into the business. I got invited to a book club, 7 Levels. And I remember I was like brand new, and this guy was like, "You have to come to this book club." And I was like, "Who goes to book clubs?" Now I'm a person who reads an average of 68 books a year. So like, funny how things change. So I go to this book club and it was all based on how to, there's 88 systems in the book, but it reads like a fable. Like it doesn't say, this is system 1, this is system 2, like this is what you do. Like it reads like a fable. It's about a really tired real estate agent. And he's getting burnt out and this guy in the office, Don, is just totally beating him and everything. And it's making him feel less of himself and he's going broke. And this mortgage lender, Michelle, teaches Rick how to run a business based on referrals, like based on relationships. So take the relationships you have and let's turn those into referrals, right? And so I was like, this book is genius, right? My mom always taught me, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You ever heard that? So I've actually learned that that's BS. It's not what you know, it's who you know and who do they know, right? We're what do they call it? 6 degrees separate, 7 degrees of separation. So it's a triangle of trust. Great people know great people. Successful people know successful people, right? So I only want to work with the kind and the successful people. And in this business, we get to pick who we want to work with. And we get to pick who we don't want to work with, right? So what we're going to go over today is I'm only going to be going over like 4 or 5 systems out of the 88 systems that are in that book. And this is, it's fast paced. And again, I want you to be able to take one action item from here at a minimum and execute something within the next 24 hours. You don't have to do every single tactic. It's totally up to you which ones you want to pick. I'm sharing with you some of the ones that have worked for me the most, which is probably my home court advantage, which we'll go over. So let's talk about how many different sources of business that there are. If we were running a real estate business, where do we get deals from?
Sphere of influence,
Okay. Sphere of influence. What else?
past customers.
Is it?
Referral agent.
Bless you.
Pardon.
Yell them out, guys.
I said how you participate in here is how you participate everywhere. Okay.
Volunteering, community service.
Approach prospect.
Or not being cold calling, expired.
Who we cold calling?
Expired.
Networking.
First out my honors.
Yep. What else? Yep. My least favorite one. And you guys are kind of in the same market that I'm in. It is expensive, like, and I am not knocking anybody who is paying for leads on Zillow or Realtor.com. 100%. Please understand, I'm not knocking you. Just please also understand and have a look in the mirror conversation. And you work for Zillow, like you work for Realtor.com. And because we haven't looked at other ways to be able to do business, right? And that's okay. And if it's really working for you, then great. I would just like to see what your ROI is on it. And if you want to talk about that, I'm happy to. So anything else? Oh, I do have that. That's one of my favorites. Social media, good one. Is that it? I think. Mailing, that's a good one. So the circle prospecting could actually be mailers, right? It could also be door knocking, and it could also be cold calling, which is part of that. And then we can do the same thing through this. You can door knock, you can call, you can mail, same thing for expired, right? I don't think there's anything else. What? No? Okay, I really don't. So think about it, when was the business, when were realtors, like, when did it start? Who just finished school? Like, when did the National Association of Realtors start? Like, when did this career start?
Great question.
That's theory. I actually don't know. I'm actually, if I say anything with conviction, you're probably gonna believe me anyway. So I get to like 1859, I don't know, but let's Google it, right? So what's crazy is For as long as it's been around, like hundreds of years, this is the only sources of business. This is the only way that you actually get business. There's not new ones that have been invented at all. Like, this is it. So what I would like for you to write down is where the last 6 months, where have your primarily sources been from? Where have they been from? I'll show you where mine have been from. Open houses, social media, past clients, sphere of influence, community, and referrals. In the beginning of my career, mine were expired. I door knock expired luxuries like nobody's business. That's all I would do. I did paid online, sphere, social, and this was the biggest one. And then I grew, and once I understood that game, I turned. So tell me, what were some of your top sources? I'm not surprised. And you worked really hard for that. What else? Okay.
Also, NAR was founded on May 12, 1908.
1908. And that's the only source of the business we got. Isn't that weird? 1913 was what? Yeah, so we've been around a while, right? So where should we be spending our time and money? On the left-hand side of your sheet of paper, which is the first one. Are we spending our money on the left-hand side for cold calling versus door knocking and advertising? Or should we be spending our money and time in one-on-one meetings, birthdays, and anniversaries? Where should we, in all reality, which one do you think we should be spending more of our time on? And I would agree with you. And to be honest, you know, the levels of success that we get to, it's so crazy how our whys change, right? I encourage you guys to take your DISC profile, you know, at least once a year. I encourage you to take a KPA if you guys have not. A Keller Williams personality assessment. Typically your MCA would have to send you a link to it. And have somebody review it with you. It really helps you. The more that you can understand what type of person you are, the more that you can actually better sell to everybody else, right? Then you can identify what somebody else is and sell to their style. Our time and money and energy spent as a referral-based business on the one-to-one side, belly-to-belly conversation, is definitely going to be more profitable in the long run. However, if you're looking to get business right now today, it's always going to be what? What do you think? Expired and FISBOs, because why? They've already raised their hand, right? They've already waved their white flag, like, hey, I'm ready, like, please, like, hire me, like, my agent sucks, and typically it's usually the agent's fault, always. Well, actually, it's always the agent's fault for expires. Always. And so our job is to see what we can do to help them. So, you know, I'm gonna be really, really honest with you, and if you can't tell, I'm a very real person. So I've always run this referral-based business, and I work with a gentleman who's one of the #1 luxury agents, and we partner on a lot of our ultra luxury deals. And he said to me, Tara, I love your 7 levels thing, and it's so great. However, understand, we actually can't predict. I can't predict when somebody in my farm or in my sphere of influence or on my social media or in my referral groups or in my past clients is going to give me a deal. I don't know when they have a referral for me. Now we love on them. We meet with them. We give them gifts. We give them items of value. We get them birthday cards. But in all reality, I can't predict. It's not a predictable business unless you have it in the masses and you have it systematized. So today I'm going to give you guys systems on how to make it more predictable, and nothing that you've heard of the MRA books or anything like that. And also keep in mind though, unless you're really willing to commit on the activities in the system to be able to really truly build a referral-based business, you're going to have to add in the things that the people have already raised their hand if you're looking for a business immediately and to grow. Because we need people to work with in order to have past clients, right? So, and then we can kind of love on them. So you wrote down your top 3 sources. Let's talk about this. We talk about how many contacts that we typically need to have in a daily, weekly, goal, correct? Are you guys tracking your numbers? I feel like, I don't know why, I think we just don't do that. Yeah, I know. I mean, yes, it is. And so think about this, I don't care what business you've ever worked for and or owned, there were numbers. You had to clock in, you had to clock out. That was a statistic. That was the owner tracking numbers. For us, we get into real estate and we think that we don't need to track our numbers. Are you business owners? If you're business owners, you have one job and it's to track your numbers, right? Well, yes, absolutely, because then your great coach is not gonna be able to tell you where your opportunity is and they don't have enough data to track, right? And sometimes it's just zero. I want to see zeros. I want to see whatever it is. However, let's talk about our weekly referral goal. If we have a contact goal for however much it is, if we figured out our dollar per hour, which is a different exercise that we don't have time for today, your weekly referral goal. How many referrals would you like to receive on a monthly basis? Have you thought about that? 1 a day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week. So 7 times 4, 28. So it's 28 referrals. What would we need to do? Because I'm saying, give me referrals. I want to receive referrals, right? What would we need to do in order to receive referrals? Market to them. That's a good suggestion. What else would we probably need to do? Call them, meet with them, and what else?
Show your value. Why would someone refer someone to you?
Correct. And what would be one of the best ways for someone to want to refer me business that I can show them value?
Past performance?
Past performance is huge because, to be honest, when I sign 6, 7, 8% listing agreements, and even in the multi-millions, no one questions me on my listing agreement. No one questions me on my price because price only matters in the absence of value. So if anybody ever questions you on commission or somebody questions you on your TC fee or whatever it is, it's a you problem. Sincerely, like you need to have a look in the mirror conversation and you need to say, what did I miss? Was there an area that we're going over? Like, what did I miss in our communication? What's most important to you when working with a great agent like me? Like, figure it out because you missed this step because nobody will ever question you if they believe in your value. Price only matters in the absence of value. It's a value conversation, right? And do I sign 5% listing agreements? Yes, I do. I'll be honest. Well, you do as well, especially for my past clients who are like referral based. So weekly referral goal, on the right track, all great ideas. When you read the 7 levels of communication, what happens is you become a part of one of my favorite flocks of families, which is the generosity generation. What do I mean by that? In order to receive, you have to give. You have to give and give and give without the expectation to receive. If I just go out there and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make, and I'm just using you as an example, I want 28 referrals once a month. I desire 28 referrals. If we go back to bold, want equals lack, right? I want something because I'm lacking something, right? I intend to get 28 referrals a month. And the only way I'm gonna do that is if I do what? If I give. I give and I love on people and I show them the value and I grow their businesses and I find out what their goals are and I find out what their dreams are. I find out what their family's names are. I know my clients' kids' dogs' names, their kids, their dogs, you name it. I know their dogs' birthdays. They're in my CRM. You only got to put them in one time, right? So, and Tamika's going to go over with you a tag. So my weekly referral goal is to give 5 referrals and receive 1. Weekly referral goal is to give 5 referrals and receive 1. And I make that be public knowledge. I wonder if actually it has underneath here. Okay. Let me give you an example. One of my favorites, how many people in this room are in the business less than 2 years? Show of hands. Okay. How many in this business are in this business from 3 to 5 years? Okay, and how many are over 5? So weird. I know, I just can't. Okay, just I needed an idea. Okay, so one of my favorite tactics, especially if I'm newer, and as well as I'm a veteran, like I still do this exercise. It's one of my favorite exercises. And what it is where's there? Is there a eraser?
Oh, what?
An eraser?
Somewhere.
Okay, no worries. I can do this. It's called the white pages, the white yellow pages exercise. If you took an old bowl forever ago, that's what it was. So let's think about this. A to Z. And it's a good exercise if you guys have kids. Take the alphabet and brainstorm. You have kids as well. Brainstorm, get together with little groups after this as well. Think about all the businesses that start with letter A. Give me some businesses.
Architect.
Architect,
Attorney.
attorney, accountant.
Advertising.
What'd you say?
Advertising.
Actually, you ain't lying. I never thought about that. You are not lying about that one. I do need to contact the Apple right now, because I know there's a new phone out, because my phone's going crazy. So B,
Barber.
barber. Butcher, baker, and one that I needed really bad recently. And then the other day, Jason and I, last Saturday, we were finishing up a listing appointment and we're driving. And I was heard about this guy and actually needed him. And I'm driving around the corner leaving the listing and he's covered in a full white suit, face mask and everything, just standing in the middle of the median like this. And I was like, oh my God, is that Michael Myers? Like, what is going on? Are we gonna die? Why is he blocking the road? Like I planned out all of it. I go, oh my God, that's the bee guy. And he was attacked by 1,000 African bees. And so he was just standing there in the middle of the road waiting for them to get off of him. And so we actually turned it into a listing appointment though.
Actually, a true story.
Yeah, I was like talking to him like through my crack of my window, like, hey, I heard about you. And then within just talking through the crack of my window, he asked me to come over and value his home. Right? So with the letter B, I say that because beekeepers, we do need beekeepers. And there's actually a documentary on it. If we don't have bees, human existence will die. C, carpenters, CPAs. You see where I'm going with this, right? I want you to do an A to Z list and list all the types of businesses that there are. And then I want you to go back and highlight all of the businesses that have anything to do with real estate. We're gonna hit those first, right? So what am I talking about? Mortgage, lenders. Well, it's the same thing, but I need a hard money lender too, right? Yeah, there's deals that, I don't know if you guys are dealing with all the condo issues that we are. There's the non-Q loans, like there's different lenders do different things. Title, you need attorneys, I need inspectors, I need plumbers, I need handyman, I need general contractors. What else? What am I missing that's like really important that we use every day? Is it inspectors? Plumber, electrician, oh, we need to call electrician. Roofers, appraisers, painters, landscapers. Okay, see where we're going? When you do this A to Z list, I want you to go back and highlight all the businesses that have to do the most with real estate. Then the third part to that exercise is, I want you to go back and I want you to look at your database, look at your phone, type in roofer. How many roofers do you have in your phone that you can call the personal cell phone number and be like, hey, I got a problem. Hey, here's a picture from my inspection report. Will you look at it? Will you look at it real quick? You know, one guy I just used recently, and he's one of the most expensive people to come out to the property just to look at it. Structural engineers. And I needed a structural engineer, and I have a great relationship with this guy named Don Harpin, I believe. And hey, Don, I have an issue. I sent him the 2 pictures. And he called me. I was like, I just need to know, is it worth you coming over? Obviously, I'm more than happy to pay for your time. Or what is it? And he goes, honestly, I just looked at the pictures. It's not worth it. It's a wood frame pop out. Just pop out the stucco, and you just have to replace that wood frame. It's not concrete. Thanks, Don. Just saved me $350, like my client, right? So do you have those relationships? So I want you to go through your database from your phone, look at your social media. And do you have these people in your phone? Now, you need to write this down. You need 2 to 3 people per every single category. You need 2 landscapers. You need 2 landscape architects. You need 2 painters. You need 2 lenders. You need 2 movers. I'm talking 2 to 3 per every category, right? The reason being, and please learn this mistake from me. If I were to give you a referral and I said, what's your first name? Maggie. Maggie. I said, Maggie, I'm so glad that you're moving to Fort Lauderdale. You totally gotta call my plumber. He's absolutely the best. He can fix all those issues for you. Now, when you call my plumber, and my plumber that I told you that was so great, and he came over and you hated him, and he didn't do a good job. Whose fault is that? Mine. If Maggie, if I gave you 2 of my favorite plumbers and you picked one and you didn't like him, whose fault is that not? It's not my fault. Now, when I'm giving them people, especially because I'm very loyal to my in-house lenders and title, when I'm giving them my people and my movers especially, like I do put them in order of a category, like my first pick, second pick. However, it is on them to pick, right? And then I'm also building relationships with these other vendors and I'm meeting with them once a quarter. So I track how many referrals go out versus how many referrals come in. What do I mean by that? So you're gonna go back through that list. You guys, do we have an understanding of what I just said? We're doing the A to Z list. We're going back and circling all the ones that have to do with real estate. Then we're going to our database to say, do I have 2 to 3 people for every single category? Okay. From there, what we're gonna do is, and this is one of my favorite tactics, is I want you to go through in social media. I mean, is anybody not on social media because they just don't believe in it and they ain't doing it and they don't feel like it? I'm so glad no hands raised. That was gonna turn into that was gonna turn into something fun. Because it's the new newspaper, it's the new announcement, it's the new postcard service, it's the new, and what I love about social media is you get to choose what you consume, who you consume from, information, like all those negative Nancy's and all those people that like, and listen, I'm human, and that sometimes I'll be scrolling and I see somebody and I'm like, oh, why couldn't I have done that? I could have gotten that listing. How'd you do that? Like, and then I check myself having comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy. And I just unfollow them. I just need to unfollow. Like, I can't put myself in a negative mindset. So I control who I see first in my feed and all of that. So what I just went down a rabbit hole and I don't remember what that was for. So with your social media, what I would suggest for you is, and this is just going to be one suggestion on how you can find more of these people and build relationships. We're going to talk about this pyramid of which zone do you live in, and you'll understand it at a higher level. So if I'm in social media and I realize I only have 2 painters, or 1 painter, I'm sorry. I only have 1 painter, I need 2 more. I can go on social media and I do believe in a 5-5-5 rule. Everything I have is systematized. You just haven't figured that out by now. And the reason being, like, I pick out all my clothes on Sundays for the whole freaking week, which we're gonna go through. And like, I don't enjoy getting asked out on dates. And I'm like, I have Thursday from 4 to 6. Or I have next Tuesday between 1:30 and 2. Like, I don't enjoy it. However, there's no way that I'm able to do the volume that I'm able to do to reach my goals and live my life by design and live truly my unreal life if I am not systematized. I don't have a choice. I'm running a business. I'm running 4 businesses. So and we're going to go through rituals because it's actually part of 7L. So I said I'm going to go through social media. I needed an extra painter. I needed 2 extra painters, right? I only had 1 in my database. So I'm going to do 5-5-5 on social media. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to like 5 posts, like emoji, heart, sad face, cry face, whatever it is. I'm going to comment and like, because you don't comment on somebody's thing and not like it. A comment with more than 3 words. What do I mean by that? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Wow, that's so great. Versus, wow, that's great. Right? 4 words. And from there, the 5 is going to be either 5 DMs or interactions with their stories, which are the things at the top of the bubble. and then they disappear in 24 hours, right? Or you can just private message 5 people. When you comment on somebody's story, it ends up where? In their messages anyway. I'm gonna do all 5 of these, and then I'm going to post. And I actually have the script for you in there, I believe. My weekly referral goal, and listen, take mine, I don't care. 25 referrals to give out a month to receive 5, right? 5 times 5, 25, receive 5. My weekly referral goal is to give 5 referrals and receive 1. And right now I'm looking for a great painter. Who do you know that I should know? And then you make it a public post, please mark that as an asterisk next to your thing, make it a public post, okay? And then hopefully, because what happens is who these people are that you're interacting with are also the people that you're cheating the algorithm system. Like, you don't need to be doing this just with your local realtors. Sorry. If your friends, well, I'm not local, this is great. All my local realtors are all unfollowed on all my accounts. Now I'm still friends with them, but I just don't want to see any of their stuff. I'm not looking to prospect to you. Social media I use as a prospecting tool. So, although now that I'm a real estate coach at a bigger level, I'm like, okay, maybe I do need them. What are you guys doing? So it's different. All right, so 5 by 5, I'm gonna do this. And then what happens is the people that you're interacting with are going to most likely see your post, okay? So from there, you're gonna get Susie that says, hey Tara, you got tagged John, because if it's public, they'll get it. Tags John is like, John the painter is the best, right? John the painter. John the painter is the best, you gotta call him. Or some people will leave someone's phone number, whatever it is. What I'm able to do from that is, thanks Susie, and say, thank you for connecting me to John. I'm able to call John directly and say, hey, my name's Tara Carter with Keller Williams. I'm a local real estate agent. And as you can imagine, this is a script from bold, by the way. As you can imagine, I have clients moving in and out of the area often, and I'm looking for a great painter. And Susie Klein said that you're the best painter. Are you currently taking new business? Yes, I am. Awesome. Is now a good time? I have a few questions for you, or I'd love to connect with you for coffee and learn more about your business and how you're looking to receive referrals. And then if now is a good time, I want to know how long has he been in the business? What areas does he serve? If somebody wanted to look up his past work, where's the best place for that? What does he specialize in? Does he do murals? Like, what does he do? Like, don't assume your painters do everything, and don't assume that your flooring people do all types of flooring. Do they do wood? Do they do marble? Do they do finish? Like, I have a million questions. So what I'm then able to do is ideally build a relationship with him, ask him who his ideal clients are. I'm giving him something of value. In a perfect world, if I can go to his office and introduce myself to, right, I'm building a relationship with him, then he's going in my command under multiple tags. He's going to go under painter. He's going to go under referral - Susie Klein. Like, I'm going to track all of that, where that's coming from, and whatnot. What do I mean by this? Then I can go back to Susie, and I haven't talked to Susie in forever. Susie, I just wanted to thank you so much for introducing me to John. I was able to connect with him and learn what areas he also served. He sounds phenomenal, and I can't wait to work with him. By the way, how are you? How's the kids? How's, like, you look at their Facebook first, because it's like the easiest thing to know what's going on, right? So then I can figure out, like, how is he doing? Like, and then we can have a conversation. Susie, I haven't seen you in so long. Why don't we grab lunch next Thursday? See where I'm going with this? Okay. Imagine if you could send that. What I don't want you to do, and hear this very clearly, is I don't want you to go to social media and be like, I need a great roofer and a painter and a plumber. No. Like, you could prospect breaking down one person every 3 days in a perfect world, looking for people, and those are your contacts. Because then if you got 10 tags, you have to go back and introduce yourself to all those people, go to multiple, find your person, your people, because you need 3, right? And then go back and thank the people that gave them to you. Make sense? So my monthly referral goal is to give 25 and receive 5. So then the only thing I want you to start doing in the perfect world is, and I used to do this like fancy on a board in my office, but because now I'm like in so many different offices. I really only work out of restaurants, which is what we're gonna get into. Is how the majority of my business has come since day one, and which is actually not one of those tactics. So I track how many outgoing referrals I have. For me, the system that works, it's just a note section in my phone, and then every Friday I do a financial Friday, where every Friday I look at my money. You need to look at your money, you need to watch your money, you need to tell your money what to do. So every financial Fridays, I spend an hour every Friday going through my money, and I look at my referrals and I put it into my CRM, or my virtual assistant does. What do I mean by that? I give you an example. My CPA, I tracked 48 outgoing referrals in 3 years. He gave me none, and I asked for the business 9 times in 3 years, 3 times a year. I asked for business. I got none. He just got fired. But I loved him. He was so good. He's like one of the best CPAs. However, it's not like I assumed because I gave you this amount of business that I assumed that you were going to give me business. I taught you how to treat me. I treated you well, and I asked for the business 9 times, and you didn't even give me a bone, not even like a rental. Nothing. So I fired. This is a two-way relationship, not a one-way, right? So my real estate photographer, when I helped him, I said, and you would never think, like, you're a real estate photographer. When I came to him, I said, what are your goals? Like, how are you looking to build your business? And he's like, man, I would love to have like 30 photographers and cover all the way up to Orlando and just crush it, right? And I was like, how many you guys got? Like, I got 3. And I was like, okay, so what opportunities are you missing right now? How can I help better serve you and get your name out there to the community? I was like, do you have any graphics or anything I can share on social media? And he was like, no. So I said, do you mind if I create one for you? What services are you offering that are unique right now? And I ended up creating a graphic for him, just like he was offering Matterport, and this was like when Matterport first came out. And I have helped grow his business. He's at 58 photographers right now and covers from the Keys to Orlando. And when I tell you this man will do anything, and he's one of my biggest sources of business, and all I do is just help him grow. I don't even have to ask him. I just help him grow. And that's it. The other person, my painter, my electrician, literally all my biggest sources of business. The people that you guys talk to on a daily basis, they think that like, oh, well, they work with so many realtors. Why would they work with me? Well, how are you different? Like, do you know if he's married? Do you know what his goals are? Like Ford and Frog. What's Frog stand for? Family, recreation, what I do for fun, occupation, and goals, dreams and goals, right? It's just those conversations, which is for a different time. So the zone that we have, if you guys got invited to this event, how did you guys hear about this class?
Social media.
Okay. Did you get any emails?
Yeah.
Email.
And text.
Text message? So if you saw it and you were like, okay, you just got something, the bottom of the pyramid, if you look on the second page, bottom of the pyramid is advertising. You just saw an ad for this class and you're like, maybe I'll go. You know what? I'm really not that cool. Let's go like Oprah Winfrey. Okay. You saw maybe Oprah Winfrey was coming into town and you saw an ad out and you're like, okay, maybe I'll go. Maybe I won't because I don't even like Oprah. Who knows? You saw an ad. The second pyramid is the direct mail. You got a direct piece in the mail that said, hey, come to this event. Oprah's going to be in town. Can you make it? Right? Then the third part is you got an email. Oprah's coming to town. Can you make it? Will you come? How likely are you to come? Like, yeah, like still maybe not so sure. Next thing, handwritten note. You got a handwritten note from Oprah that invited you to come to the event. Are you going?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 100%. Phone call. You said maybe. Oprah called you on the phone and she said, hey, I just wanted to know, can you make it on Saturday to my event? Can I count on you? Okay. So phone calls, events, and seminars. What I'm getting at is if you look on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, influential zone. What happens is at the bottom where we typically stand to be is in the informational zone where we're just giving them information. We're sending them direct mail pieces, we're sending them ads, or we're posting ads, right? We're door knocking, we're sending them emails. We live in the informational zone. If you look on the left-hand side of that pyramid, you'll see the arrow, the largest impact that you will have on a person and growing a referral-based business is going to be in the influential zone. And what's at the very top? One-on-ones. Meaning one-on-one meetings, belly to belly, face-to-face conversations, get to know your peoples, not just on the phone, right? And so I'm gonna give you guys 2 tactics that are my favorite on how to do that. I actually took an agent with me last night and he was like, this is wild. So phone calls. What do you think your call reluctance is? What is call reluctance? When you are reluctant to call and you know the calls you're supposed to make, you know you're probably supposed to call the fit those expired if you're especially looking for right now business today. And so when the phone feels heavy and we're reluctant to call, what is that you being?
Yourself and not them.
Fearful, yes. And so yes, actually, you just nailed that. Any of my classes have done that. So if we were to say fearful to, repeat that again?
It's focusing on you and not them.
Correct, focusing on you and not them, which means that you are being selfish. You can fill in that blank. Call reluctance is you being selfish, respectfully. You're being selfish. There are people out there that need your help and you have to believe that. Like it's not about the paperwork, it's about the people work. Like we're in the people business. And if you don't like people, y'all better just give me your database and I'll pay you referral for every single thing and you go get your 9-to-5 job. There's no judgment on that. Real estate is not for everybody. One of my coaching clients asked me yesterday in the PC program, Sarah, what's the percentage of the agents that actually become really successful? I said 80-20 on a good day. Like 80% get out, 20% stay, maybe 15%. And that's really, it just is what it is, right? This is not for everybody. This has got to be the hardest business I've ever done in my life. And I'm not scared of hard work, yet it is the most rewarding business. And I'm not talking just financially, right? So this is just a system in regards to how you can redo it. This is just a system that is part of it. Again, these are not things that you have to do. These are just a system that are from 7Ls that have really been a strategic plan to get my calls structured. So the first and 10 calls, these are the calls, write it down. These are the calls that you make the very beginning of the day. The first 10 people you need to call. Typically, this is not old business. This is not thanking people for referrals. This is literally just the first 10 people, this is not calling the mortgage lender to update them on your client. This is not calling the title company to see if they received that document. That's not what we're talking about. Like, eat the frog first. Like, these are the first 10 people. These could be potential referral partners. These could be the people that tagged when you did that social media post and you were looking for a great general contractor and you wanted to set up some lunches or coffees or happy hours with these people. These are people that you're looking to ideally get in front of and have belly-to-belly conversations with and or help know about their business and how can you help them grow. Make sense? First and 10. Hour of power. What is hour of power? It's exactly what it sounds like. This is your power hour. This is where we are spending 1 hour. I do this once a week, not every day. This is where I spend once a week, an hour of power, where I am calling all those referral people or those past clients, or I'm calling people just to check in on them, calling people to update them on, thanks for sending me that referral, Natasha. I just wanted to let you know that we just went under contract. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for thinking of me. By the way, how are you? How's business? What can I do to support you? And please check these people's social media before you call them, and you should be friends with all your clients online anyways. And just clean up your ish before you, if you don't have friends, you're like, no, it's private. Listen, people want to do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. So like, you get to choose what you put out there in social media, so take advantage of it, right? And I live in South Florida. Like, you don't see me in bikini pics and stuff. Like, it's all selfies. I'll lose half my clients. So hour of power. Does that make sense for what those 2 are? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Thank you. So our power calls, and then, let me hide this. How do I get better? Besides not tracking our calls, what are we also really good at not doing as real estate agents? Following, well, it's always the follow-up, right? The success is always in the follow-up. And I don't think that really clicked to me until like I lost a lot of money. I was like, okay, I get it now.
Script practice.
Script practice, yep. Well, we can talk about one thing. You only have 5 jobs. You have 5 jobs to do every single day as a real estate agent. If you look up the job description of a real estate agent, there's only 5. What are they? Lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and the most important one,
Script practice.
script practice and role play. That is the most important one, because if you're not script practicing and role playing, and to be honest with you, I'm on day 87 in a row writing out my scripts. I went back to the basics. I don't care that I'm number 1. I don't care that it's that. I really did it to prove my agents a point, because I keep telling my agents that they have to write their script every day. And like 2 people, I have one chick that's on 57 days in a row, and I have one guy that's on 122 days in a row, and the rest of them just ain't doing it. And I just don't understand. And so I've been doing it every day. And to be honest, it's very much helped to go back to the basics. Like, I'm never too good to like not learn the basics, right? And I just write out 1 script a day with this paragraph, and I don't move on to the next one until I memorize it, right? And it's the words that we use matter. That's like my reminder of why this is so great. For example, when somebody said, well, let's just start at this price and then we can just come down. Like, I have my scripts for that. And typically it's like, I completely understand. And, I just really don't think that's a good idea. Can I tell you why? And then I have a script for that, right? Well, me going back and writing out my scripts lately, it's turned into, I completely understand. It's because you want to leave room for negotiation, right? And can I tell you the problem that creates for you? Notice the difference? Like, they're like, the problem that creates for me. And then they're like, what do you mean? Tell me more, right? Just little tweaks like that have been very helpful. So I encourage you to do it. Just pick 1 script, and I can give you my script book. It's not mine. I got it from my coach. And again, he has receipts. He's the only coach in North America that is still in production, selling 100 homes personally a year, and his team sells 1,200 homes. So whatever he tells me to do, I just do it because he's on the ground doing it. So how do you get better? We said what the 5 job descriptions of a real estate agent is. And in order for you to do the script practice and role play, to do your lead generation, to do your lead follow-up, to go on appointments, to negotiate contracts, in order for you to do all of those 5 things, where do all those things need to exist? Which is the second thing that is very hard. On our calendar. Oh, that dandy calendar. So if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. It's not about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule. And how many in this room know their disc profile and are high eyes? How many people do not know their disc profile? Okay, we're going to simplify that right now. You ready? This is also from 7 Level. It's called the magic question, and it's actually in your pamphlet. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not going to go there. Let me do great retrace, and then we're done. Great retrace is, I told you that I like to track my referrals, right? Like, how many referrals did I give to my painter? How many referrals did I give to the electrician? How many referrals? I track all those outgoing referrals. And if you're somebody that's in the office a lot, I would keep this on like a whiteboard behind my desk. And I would have like their name and how many referrals. And eventually, because I would always do videos, people would come to my office, they're like, what's that? How do I get on that board? I'm like, I can tell you how. When do you have time to sit down so I can learn more about you and your business and see how I can help you reach your goals? Right? And not just about business. Sometimes there's nothing to do about business and it's just personal. So from the Great Retrace, what does that look like? Well, I'm just going to use, we said, well, that's fascinating.
Oh, I know.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is John the painter. Remember I said John the painter, you're so cute, I appreciate you. John the painter was introduced to me by who? John the painter. It was on social media, was introduced to me by who?
Susie, fine.
Susie. Well, you know, I actually know that I met Susie from my friend Timmy. I don't even know Timmy. I don't know where that name just came from. I actually met Susie from Timmy. Now, what will happen is I want to see how far down the line I can get this, which is why I made one of my tags referral from Susie. If I build a relationship with Susie deeper, I want to see how many referrals she'll give me. Let's go back. Who's gotten a referral lately? What is your name?
Doreen,
Doreen. Who'd you get a referral from?
a past customer.
So past customer's name was
Bob.
Bob. And Bob was your past client.
Yep.
And Bob referred you to who?
His cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah,
Okay. And has the cousin referred you any business yet?
not yet, I just met with him.
Okay, awesome. How did you meet Bob?
Bob is a friend of my partner, my boyfriend,
Okay. And who's your boyfriend?
Jim.
Jim. How did you meet Jim?
I was in the golf business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody get you into the golf business?
Sure. That becomes a whole nother one.
Okay, so you see where I'm going with this, right? So what that's called the great retrace, right? And so I don't keep anything fancy besides in my CRM. I just have this like an Excel spreadsheet. I have one great retrace on just like who the person was and it keeps going down the line. I have one great retrace that goes 16 deep. So cool, right? I'm gonna tell you why. Let's say that cousin refers you Shelly. Okay. Bro, what after meeting with the cousin, I'm gonna go to Bob and say, Bob, this is during my hour of power, for example, right? I don't have to do this every day. This is like once a week, hour of power. I can call Bob and say, hey, Bob, I just wanted to thank you so much for referring me your cousin. I just met with them and I guess the guy was great, just like you told me. And I'm so excited to work with him. And your referrals really mean the world to me. Is there anything that I can do for you? How's business? How's the family? How's it? Word and frog, right? That's it. So then when your cousin, when we close on the cousin, I usually do when I met them, under contract and closed. Those are 3 opportunities to have that conversation with Bob, okay? From then, the cousin referred me Shelly. Then I call the cousin and say, hey, I just met with Shelly. Shelly was so amazing, da-da-da-da. I'm so grateful that you introduced me to Shelly, blah, 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 right? Then I'm gonna call during my hour of power. I'm not just gonna call cousin, I'm gonna call Bob and I'm gonna say, Bob, you know, great people know great people and thank you so much for introducing me to Shelly. He's gonna say, who's Shelly? Well, because you introduced me to Bob and your referrals mean the world to me, I was able to also meet another great person through Bob named Shelly. And it was all because of you, Bob. And I just really appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's it, right? As far down as that can go, you keep doing it. However, unless you track, it's never going to make sense. You're not gonna be able to do that. Does that make sense? So I just have this on a one Excel spreadsheet. It just goes across about who it is. But in my CRM, and Tamika's gonna go through the tags. Your gold is in the tags because sometimes I won't remember. But if Shelly is also gonna get a tag that says it came from PC Bob. You know what I mean? You can do the same thing to your boyfriend. He could be your practice script person for that. To be honest. So I encourage you to say, who do you know right now that's in your great retrace? Can you source back anybody right now? She's already doing it. Can you source back anybody that you know that you've gotten that referral from? And where did they come from? I love this guy. He's taking so many notes. Does that make sense? Could you see the value in that?
Yes.
Super, the easiest calls to make, y'all. Like the easiest calls to make.
I love you.
Yes, they're the ones that give you business. I want more people like that. Ambassadors and champions. We talked about the people who are giving us these referrals, right? If Bob ends up giving me one referral, and you don't have to grade your people like this, I'm just giving you my tactics from 7L. So, and I told you that I took that book club and I didn't want to go to the book club. Well, then I went to the book club. Then I started group coaching with Michael's stuff 9 years ago. And then I started one-on-one coaching with him, and now I've been a coach for him for 6, 7 years. That little book club I didn't want to go to isn't so shabby, huh? Like whatsoever. So where was I at? Okay, so there's a difference of everybody, and at least in mine, per 7 levels, and you don't have to do this whatsoever, get scores. You just go ambassadors and champions. Anybody, and so I have on your thing, ambassadors and champions. Anybody that's ever given, so Bob gave you 1 referral. Right now, Bob is a champion. Anybody who's giving you 1 piece of business is a champion. Anybody that's giving me 2 or more pieces of business is an ambassador. They are an ambassador for your business. They're like your brand. They're like, for me, they're like walking flamingos. And they bring me back referrals. So I'm at a point now where it takes a while to have ambassadors. So my question to you is, do you have any ambassadors right now? Is there anybody that you can think of that's giving you more than 2 referrals?
Yeah.
You better love on those people so hard. You better know their favorite chocolate, their favorite ice cream, their favorite restaurant, their favorite color, their dog's names, their dog's, like, love on those people. Because in all reality, if you're getting, and so right now I'm up to only 14 ambassadors. It's really not a lot if you think about it. I'm at 14 ambassadors. However, if 14 people are referring me 2 or more pieces of business every single year, could I literally not sell anymore and just rely on them? 100% all day long. So then once a year, I sit down and I have an ambassador dinner during Christmas, and I get them all together because great people know great people. They're clearly my ambassadors. They already love me. They've already told the world that they love me so much that they're willing to refer me business. So why not love on them and get them all together to meet each other? And I even have like a seating chart. So like I try to like put like the 2 guys like I know will connect versus these 2 people I know will connect. And so what I am seen as is I'm seen as the connector. We don't just sell real estate, we sell a lifestyle. And when I say that we sell a lifestyle, are people calling you and coming to you for other things besides real estate? Because I'm telling you, so Jason actually, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, because he had shadowed me last Saturday and we went to a whole bunch of appointments and he was like, you don't play. And I was like, no, sir. Most people are not willing to do the work that I do. However, they want what I have. They want to, so, and what do I mean by that? They want what I have, but they're not willing to do what I did. They want to skip the did to get to just do the do, and they end up in deep do-do, to be honest. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you have to put in the work. Like, you have to determine what are your goals, and we have to work backwards. But again, you get to choose who you want to work with, and you get to choose how you want to do business. And this is I prefer this all day. I just love people. However, we don't just sell houses, we sell a lifestyle. And Jason had said to me when we got done after a 10-hour day, covered 3 counties. And yes, we got all those appointments. And I looked at him at the end, I go, what was your biggest takeaway from today? Like, I'm done talking. Like, what was your biggest takeaway? And you said,
Relationships with your clients. Like, really is what it came down to. Like, how you connect it to your clients is like very eye-opening.
so connected with.
You show you care.
So showing you care, and I just connected with them. And then also I am a full solution service. Full solution service. We don't sell houses, we sell lifestyle. So what do I mean by that? I have an elevator pitch. So I encourage you all to get an elevator pitch. And you know what your elevator pitch means. You got 15 seconds in the elevator to tell somebody about who you are, what you do, and why they should go give you a call. So what's yours? Mine is, I'm a 3rd generation realtor. My family's been selling in the area for almost 40 years. I am a one-stop shop. I am a concierge realtor. I am here for whatever you need. I'm better than Angie's List. What you need, what you got, I got it.
No, that's right there.
Right? Like, I got it. I got whatever you need. You want to know where's the best restaurant for stone crabs? Where's the best restaurant for date night? The best restaurant, the best Indian food, the best Chinese food, the park with the biggest swing set, the best groomer. Now, I may not know. Guess what? I'm going to figure it out though. So what happens is everybody, including realtors, they all come to me for everything, but that's the goal. I want them to call me for their painter, even though they're not selling their house. I want them to call me for the number one contractor or the number one hairdresser. I swear my hairdresser, like we are the most loyal people to our hairdressers. I have literally built her business on such a big level. I refer her to everybody. I mean, I'll drive, she can move over here and I'd still drive to her, right? So, and so I'm talking about my nail techs, like our barbers, like whatever it is, like you should be a one-stop shop. And this is why that A to Z list will be super helpful to see, like, who do I really have in my list? And do I really talk about? Because when you met that person or you had great service, go and leave a review on their pages. And then post about it and tag them in it. Like, be out there, give them love. Refer them business, give them 5-star reviews. Y'all want business and y'all want reviews, but it's me. We have to give in order to receive. You have to give without the expectation to receive. Let me be clear about that. Because the universe will bring it back to me. I help people all the time. I'm meeting with a restaurant owner next week because I was one of the head marketing, I created a marketing department for the nightclubbing restaurant 10 years ago. And he told me last night, I met him at a restaurant because I went to a home court, and which we're gonna go through. And I met him at a restaurant, and he said that his landlord raised his rent $5,000 a month. I mean, this is on Las Olas, it's the top 10 richest streets in America. And so I said to him, he's like, I gotta figure something out with my lunches. I said, well, why don't you just, I go, where you're at on the block, it's here, it's away from the financial district. So what you need to do, because you're not gonna walk past this area, we just need to market to the right financial people and discover who your people are, because your restaurant's not that big. He's like, can you just come talk to me? I go, yeah, yes, sir. Here's my calendar. What day would you like? Wednesday or Thursday next week between this time and this time? And I'm literally just gonna go meet with him, and I'm not asking for any money. I'm just gonna give him my advice, introduce him to any key marketing people that will be within his budget, and see how I can help him. Just give him value. I'm not looking for anything else, yet you better believe now I know the owner of one of the best spots at one of the best locations at a restaurant that I'm gonna give love to and see if I can help him grow his business. And the way that it works is after you've helped somebody so much, the number one way that you know that you did a good job is when they turn around and they say, wow, you're just so great. How can I help you? Ding, ding, ding. I'm like, oh, that's such a great question. So I have a goal to help 30 families this year. And I'm behind a little bit. I'm looking for 2 families in the next week. Is there anybody that you know that I should know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And then we're gonna go through what that's. I'm gonna give you all the scripts for it. So your ambassadors and champions, to go back to that, like, who are you meeting? Because your ambassadors gave you 2 more pieces of business, and your champions gave you at least 1 referral deal. Does anybody have 3 people for that you wrote down? Not yet.
I'm only 30 days in.
Okay. Not only, I am 30 days in.
I am, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we could go back to day 1 if you want.
I'm here.
Okay. Or you're not new anymore.
No,
Once you got your license, you're not new, it's in the past. And what were you doing before real estate?
well, I'm still doing hair, and I do phlebotomy on the side.
Love it. And so you've been in the business of helping people. So how long have you been doing that?
About 7 years now.
Okay, so one of my favorite scripts that my first PC coach gave me, I said, well, I'm still new, I can't do that. He goes, you're not new.
Your thing is gonna turn off over there.
What's
Just
that?
that time.
Fix it.
Oh, in 3 seconds.
Oh,
Like the TV.
He's like, I'm new, and so I traced back, and then I learned like how long I've been in the business. So my script turns, I've been in the business of helping people for 7 years, and I just added real estate to my toolbox.
Mhm.
Anybody that you know that I should know that I could help, because I have a weekly referral goal to give 5 and receive 1.
Okay.
So if I wanted to send you referrals, what does that look like? You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, so the word new is out.
Okay.
So if we talked about ambassadors and champions for that, and I want you to think of who is the person that cheers you on the most and praises your praises and sings your songs and just is always there to be like, you're the best. You gotta call her. She's the best. He's the best. Does anybody have that person? That's your Oprah. That's your Oprah. That's your first, that's like your VIP of VIP ambassadors. And that's the person you first, when you leave here, you go love on. Even if it's just a simple 2-minute gratitude call. Give them a call and say, you know, I was just thinking of you. I just took a really great class today. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm so grateful for you. And you've always believed in me, and I'm just so grateful. I'm very appreciative. And usually you're gonna get the reaction of, oh, what's wrong? And they're like, you know, they're like, no, like sincerely, I'm just really grateful for you. Like, I think that sometimes we get so lost in the sauce and this business is so hard. The best part about being in real estate is we work for ourselves. And the worst part about being in real estate is that we work for ourselves, right? And it's that following that calendar and it's counting your contacts like a business. So who is your Oprah is what I really wanted you to get out of that section. To kind of make sure that the first thing that you can do leaving here is to go and love on them. Okay. This again is from 7 levels. And I have memorized this magic question and I would write it out until I got it right. I use this for my clients. I use it for buyer consultations. I use it for listing appointments. I use it for referrals. I'm going to use it for y'all right now. I'm going to ask you, and then you're going to raise your hand and tell me which one best describes you. So if your best friend, spouse, and or coworker had to best describe you, now you may have be all 4, had to best describe you out of one of 4 ways, which one is it? Direct and straight to the point, social and outgoing, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate. I'm going to run through them again. I want to see what yours is by a show of hands. How many people would your best friend, spouse, and or coworker best describe you as being direct and straight to the point? Okay. And how many would be social and outgoing? Majority of the room always. And how many would be steady and dependable? Okay. And how many would be cautious and perfectly accurate? There's always one. There's always one. I
prefer steady and dependable.
there's always one. There's always one in a room. I swear, it's never usually more than that. So what that is that's your DISC. That's your DISC profile. You will have characteristics of each one. It's just which one is the most dominant. And the one that is the social and most outgoing are high I's. And high I's are majority of real estate agents. We are natural salespeople. However, don't confuse being a natural salesperson as a great real estate agent. Just don't. High I's are also the ones that get lost and don't usually hit their goals and sell the most amount of properties, although they're the bubbliest. They'll bounce around town all day. However, they don't because the high I's, like myself, I'm an ID. I'm a D under pressure, and my C is getting really good. Like every time I have to retake the DISC profile every year, and my C just keeps climbing. And so, and the T too, that's pretty level with I. However, so high I's, we tend to not be as great with hitting our goals in real estate because high I's do not like mundane, boring tasks, doing the same thing day in and day out. We don't like it. We get bored. I'm so bored. I don't want to do that every day. I just want to do what I want to do. Doesn't sound like anybody though, right? Doesn't sound like anyone. And so that's tend to what it turns out to be. So what is important first, that I'm gonna break this down for you at a very high level and fast too, because I really want to jump into the home court. And because I have Tamika, and this is usually a 3-hour workshop that I do, I took things out of it. So the discovery is probably one of my favorites. It says care like everyone's an S, steady and dependable, smile like everyone's an I, social and outgoing, prepare like everyone's a C, and sell like everyone's a D. Straight, fast, direct, straight to the point. So do you want to buy it or not? Do you want to make an offer? Do you want to hire me for the job to sell your home? Yes or no? Yeah, like which one is it, right? So I'm going to teach you guys by identifying, and again, and to go back to it, really understand what yours is, and then we can understand what others is. Once I master the DISC profile and studied it at such a high level, I swear I could sell anything. Like I'm a full chameleon. I went on a job interview right now and they said, what's your best attribute? I'm like, I'm a chameleon. I'm a chameleon. I could be any of those at any time and point. Jason went on the appointment with me, that listing appointment. And before we went over, I knew I had it was an hour drive up and an hour drive north. And I blocked 5 hours for this meeting, including the drive, because I knew they owned their house for 42 years, 42 years. And I knew that it was going to be a long appointment. I knew that they hadn't sold or bought, and this was a big life change for them that they were making. I also knew that they were a little bit, we weren't old, they were young, they were like in their 60s. And I said to him, I go, well, just like you're gonna go to grandma's, just in case. I don't know what they look like, just like you're gonna go to grandma's. And he did great. And I wore like a moo-moo dress, like I dressed to my clientele, you know. I was meeting a beautiful Indian family last week. You better believe I wore like a turtleneck, slacks, like, you know, like we have to dress for whatever it is. Especially because we're so eclectic here. We have so many different personalities. We have so many different cultures, and you have to be respectful. But you get one first impression, I'm telling you that. Like I'm already freaking out that I broke a nail all the way here. And I'm like, great, I have to be in front of people. They're gonna judge me for that. It is what it is. So let's break down your disc profile. And you're gonna laugh when you decide, you realize what you really are. Did I not put this? Okay. So your drivers. Your D's, those that said raise your hand for D, you are direct and decisive, you're dominant, you take on too much at a time, you're fast and logical, you have low emotion, low empathy. That doesn't mean that you're not empathetic, by the way, don't take it personally. You dislike repetition, you can be argumentative, you value time and results. Does that sound like y'all that raised your hand?
Yes.
Okay. My agents know when my D's out. They know. So we're fast and logical. Like I want to know the answer now. Like get to the juice. Get to the juice. I want to know. Give me the high D version. Or sometimes my friends and I, especially who you surround yourself with matters. Sometimes I'll just call my friend like, can you just give me the high D version? I just want the ID version. I don't want to know anything else. I don't want to hear the story. I just need what do you need? What's the question here, right? When I'm going to be booking an appointment, I'm going to actually have you guys do an exercise to how to leave voicemails. So they're the drivers. If you are not a high D, how do you communicate with a high D? Less chit chat, the better. I just said it. I don't want to know the story. I don't care if it was John and Susie that you met and where you met him from, and just tell me what you need help with. Like, how can I help you? Your broker, high Ds, like just give them the high D version. Give them the facts, nothing chit chat, and just go straight to the point. Okay, they just want to know the facts. Right? Right. I don't care about the story. There's no story, just tell me the facts. So they get to the point. I mean, you have to get to the point with them. Think high logic, low emotion. They don't care about there's no emotions in it. And they talk about the what, not the how. Avoid talking about problems. They will see you as being negative. Don't make generalizations with a high D without facts. Right? So does that sound like anybody? Okay, so we know who those are. They're typically our CEOs. They're typically our top producers. They're typically our brokers as well. And they just, like, I have a intake form for Google form. Like if you're a buyer or seller, you can fill out this Google form and I learn all about you, right? It's like a pre-qual. I'm never sending that form that they fill out to a high D. Maybe their assistant will fill it out, but they don't have time for that. They're not going to sit there and fill it out, right? You have to get straight to the point. And think about this because I'm going to have you guys leave voicemails for me in each personality style. So traits of a high I, which is the majority, again, the majority in real estate. You're outspoken, you're spontaneous, you're expressive, you're the center of attention, you're impressionable, you're high emotion, you're feelings-based, you're vocal and animated, because I've got a high I. You're a natural salesperson. Again, don't confuse being a natural salesperson as a great real estate agent, two different things. Adaptable and relational, you're an eternal optimist. You charm your way out of things. I do that very often. And we can't be manipulative. Absolutely. Sound like anybody for the high eyes? So you're the influencer. So if you are a high I, your personal growth for opportunities is figure out how to better manage your time. This is why I told you the majority of real estate agents are high eyes and are not successful in the real estate business as much, besides charming their way out of things and getting by, is because you don't want to follow a schedule. You don't want to follow a time. This is why when I go on listing appointments, I always tell them I'm gonna be there between 3 and 4, and I'll text you when I'm 15 minutes out. I'm gonna be there between 5 and 6, and I'll text you when I'm on the way out. I never give time to listing appointments, because why can FP&L and Comcast and Rooms to Go give me a 9 to 5 window? And I'm dealing with the largest investment in life, and they stay home all day for those people. Just saying, like, so, and I'm always late. So, and so what I tend to do is just give them an hour window. So if I said it was between 3 and 4, and I get there at 3:59, I ain't late. I'm not late. Been my favorite hack. I've done it for a few years now. Highly suggested. So if you are a personal, if you are high I, learn to tone it down. Slow down and take a deep breath. I brought up the listing appointment that we went on with the family that owned it for 42 years. And I said to him, I said to Jason, because it was his first day of kind of shadowing me. And I said, because I know that, I don't know how old they are, I do know that I do have a tendency to talk fast. And if I do, can you just kind of look at me and just give me like a nod, you know? And so he was like, you did so good, because then I have to make sure that I'm talking like this. And talking like this is very painful for me. However, we have to be able to cater to the people that we are meeting, and I have to be able to tone it down, change my rate of speech, and be able to talk more clearly to them to make sure that they are understanding what I'm saying to them. Does that make sense? Or I can just go back on my own thing, you know what I mean? Like, so if you are not a high I, and you're the D and the S or the C, well, the C walked out of the room, it's only one. You lighten up a bit with the high I's. Like, you don't have to take things so seriously with them. Don't be boring. You don't have to get into details. Include them always. Please include them. Like, I get so sad because I don't have any kids, and so yet, and I don't get invited to my friends' kids' birthday parties. I'm not saying I want to go to all of them, but I just want the invite. Like, I want that option to say no. Like, I'm so mad that they don't include me. Like, I just want the option to say no. Like, they didn't think of me. Like, I want to hang out with the kids as a preschool teacher. Yeah, well, they shouldn't assume. And maybe I am busy, but I still can say, I want the option to say no. So you include them always. They always want to feel like they're being included. So if I'm gonna go meet with the husband and wife, and I know that the one I usually ask them this question, or if I got referred to them by somebody, I'm gonna ask them the magic question about their client. So therefore that I can make sure that I cater to both. Understanding both their personalities. If one was a C, I'm gonna make sure I brought extremely analytical spreadsheets and things. And then I'm always gonna probably put my arm down and look at the wife who I know is a high I, and make sure she feels included in the conversation, that she doesn't understand anything. She doesn't do the money. You know, I'm gonna make sure that she feels important though. You know, included in the conversation. Make sense? I'm telling you, disc profile is a game changer. Once I learned to master, I went on a rabbit hole for like 3 weeks of studying stuff and podcasts and articles. But at first, you have to start to understand yours. High S's, these are steady and dependable. You are warm and friendly. You're agreeable. You're methodical. You're patient. You serve others. You avoid others. Slower communication pace. You're best at versatility. You're very generous as well. Your personal growth opportunities is learn to say no. No is a full sentence. Hey, Tara, can you do this? No. It's hard, trust me. I'm getting really good at it. You know, every year I score like every area of my life, like spirituality, health, relationships, finances, and all of that. I score to kind of see where I'm at and do a check-in. And I was really proud of myself because my recreation last year was higher than ever. Like, I've worked really hard, but I also played really hard. And so I looked at it, and I think the reason why my recreation was so high and my spirituality was actually higher too, because I said more no last year than anything before, than like ever before. It's been great. And so what I'm doing now is 2 things. If it's not a hell yes instantly, it's a hell no, because there's no hell maybes. Or if I wanna do something, cause and so for S's and I's too, we like wanna be on the ALC and then we wanna join all these committees and you wanna do this and you wanna do that. And then you're like, oh my God, everybody needs me. I said yes to everybody. What happens is if you learn to say no, or you can say, you know what, that sounds so great. I would love to be involved and I'm gonna get back to you in 24 hours. Yeah, or you just go in for the no, right? If I know instantly it's not a hell yes, like hell yes, I'm gonna do this. It's either I'm gonna get back to you, or I'm just like, right now, it's not a hell yes, so it's gotta be a hell no, so there's no hell maybe. And then that's been working very well. So learn to say no, and sometimes you need to increase your rate of speech. Now, because you're the amiable people, if you are not the high S that's steady and dependable, we need to learn how to communicate to those ones. You need to show sincere interest in their interest, ask how questions, you break the ice, do not break promises with the high S. Again, they're steady and dependable. Don't break ice with them. Show appreciation for their acts of kindness, and your trust will be over time. Your high C's, again, there's not that many, although mine's creeping up. That's your analytical. They are very high standards in sales. This is all your transaction coordinators. I could never do what my TCs do, ever. I couldn't even do what the NCAs do. Those are super high C's too. Like I could not do anything that they could do. And so with them, they're logic based, they're punctual, they make great admins too. And so none of you guys are high C's, so you don't have to worry about the personal growth opportunities. How do you communicate with one? You be as prepared as possible. Details matter. This is the person that you're going on a listing appointment and you're I don't know if you guys have trend graphics. Yeah. The only person I'm bringing trend graphic sheets to is the C. The D does not care. The I has no clue what they're looking at because they saw a squirrel over there and they squirreled over here and then they're just like, hey. So, and the S is, they're gonna want to analyze that information, not the way a high C will. Your CPAs, we walked into an open house last Saturday and I looked at the guy's closet and like, so understand that there's ways to identify whose personality style is what based on one question that I love so much that you can just have over the phone. Whether they're buying, whether they're selling, whether they're a renter looking, what do you think is the question that we could ask it? It tells me everything I need to know. What they do, yeah, what they do is a huge one. They tell me they're a CPA, they tell me they're a financial analyst, they're high D's. They tell me that they're CEO of this corporation or a president of this firm, high D's all day, right? And so the job tells me a lot. However, where's the question I can get the most juice from?
Describe your home.
Ah, yes, ma'am. Describe your home for me.
Why is that?
So drive your home for me. And they could be a renter. When he just got his first rental lead and I said, well, ask her where she lives now. What does she like about it? You know, that's describing your home for me, right? She lives in a home unless she lives in the street. So what does she like about her home? What can she describe it for me? What does she not like, etc. Right? So let's say that I told you, or you told me to describe my home, and I said it's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths with a pool. What else do you want to know? D all day. If I said that my home is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. We have a brand new AC unit that's a 5-ton. It was put in 2022. I'm 3,126 square feet under air, and my lot size is exactly 1.15 of an acre.
I see.
See all day. Right? If I said my house is absolutely incredible, we have an open floor plan. We do all these parties too. We got this nice grill in the back, right? The kids love to come over, like all day. So, and then the S is going to be, you know, I know that we put in the floors, I believe last year, and also we got that new AC unit, but I don't remember. Can I ask my husband to get back to you? S, they're steady and dependable. They always need somebody else to confirm and reassure what they're doing. Again, they're slower communication pace. They're generous, they're agreeable, but they're very methodical and patient. They want to be accurate. The C's are cautious and perfectly accurate. They're just analyzing everything, right? Can you see the value in understanding what somebody's personality style is? Okay. So mastering this and mastering yours is key, in my opinion, in order to really be able to determine what they are. So understand that this also shows up in ways of your text messages, your email, and your voicemail. What do I mean by that? If I'm confirming an appointment for a high D and I had to leave a voicemail, what does that look like? Yeah, it's Sarah, tell everyone to see tomorrow for. Done, right? If I'm a high I and I'm confirming an appointment tomorrow, what does that look like? So excited, and then if I'm sending a text or an email, I'm gonna include emojis. You can always tell with your clients are, they're sending you emojis and we're a high I all day, okay? The D's, S's, and C's are doing that, maybe an S. So, and then, again, if I'm a high C, what do you think that looks like? A book, right? Hi, it's Tara with Keller Williams Realty. I met you from Susie. I am so excited to meet you this Saturday, February 10th at 2 p.m. I will be there between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. and I will let you know when I'm exactly 30 minutes away. And I look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or text me at 954-661, right? Like, I'm going to be very detailed, right? Helpful? Okay, let's move on. Any questions? All right, let's get to the juice. Pulse check-in. How are we feeling? Good. Is this a value? Yeah. Okay. All right. This is some new stuff. Have you heard all this before? No. Because the last time I taught this was in Georgia, actually. Okay. Let's go. Oh, where was that handy dandy paper that I can take?
Oh, yeah.
We have already ordered new ones.
Oh, go back.
Let's, you're a doll. I appreciate you. I'm gonna give you my favorite tactic out of all of them.
Can we just add something?
Mhm.
It's not wrong. I mean, I'm a professional for 30 years and when I am noticing when I leave a message, I see message, they're getting everything they need, so there are no mistakes, unclarities and whatnot. So it's not wrong. I mean, even if it's
No.
going to a D or an I, but they're getting, I'll be there at 10 o'clock, get my phone number, I get exactly what you just said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I am not.
So that would be a C. And so the thing is that people will tend to tune you out if you're not catering to their personality style. They will tune you out. Although I guarantee you, people do appreciate a detail-oriented real estate agent who's on top of things. So you just judge your people. If you're not getting referrals for that, then you know why. All right, so let's talk about my favorite tactic. In the 7-level system, again, there's 88 tactics. None of them say what to do, where you should do it. And I have a book club that's coming up on this too. So at the end, you guys will be able to sign up for that if you want. Well, you can't sign up for it today, although I have a way to get my information. Or on my Instagram that you guys all took a picture of, there's a bio link and it has a link to my calendar. So if you ever want to brainstorm on something or you want information about the book club, just message me. However, the home court advantage, if you guys read the book or you read the book, Michelle, the mortgage lender, I wish mortgage lender. Okay, this is like such a missed opportunity for lenders because some lenders are so smart because I know when they're 7 leveling me. Because when I had gotten in and again I read this book, I'm like, oh, this is so easy. I could totally do this, right? So again, I have done this for almost 10 years since I've been in, and this one just stood out to me as my still to this day, my most preferred, most successful lead generation source. Okay. So what am I referring to? Home court advantage. If you go to a football game and the home team is there, be saying less to the Miami Dolphins, which is different. I'm a Dolphins fan. However, it's only busy when the other teams are like Ravens are playing or Baltimore, you know what I mean? Whenever it's like where everybody else is from, because we're so like not the same. Like if I go to Kansas, it's gonna be totally different, right? Like everyone's gonna be that. I just thought of it, but everything's gonna be red. Like you can feel who the home team is, right? So when you go to a team, if you go to a game and you know who's the home court team, right? You know who they are, they're very well represented. You can tell they have home court advantage, right? So I have home court advantage at 3, now 4 local restaurants. I work out of restaurants 2 to 3 times a week. Ideally, every day on Thursdays is really my day that I work out of a restaurant. And what do I mean by that? I have 3 restaurants in 30-minute locations. So to be exact, Parkland, Coral Springs, it's a ritzy suburbs area that's out west and well, my west. And then I have my old restaurant that I manage, the high-end restaurant on the richest street in America, YOLO, it's called. And then I have another restaurant that's in another city 30 minutes away on the beach called Beach House. And I picked those 3 restaurants because that was the clientele that I wanted. That was the clientele that I wanted to work with. And I picked luxury. And side notes, this is my squirrel. Hi. Now that I'm in like ultra luxury and like selling, like just rented a condo for like $30,000 last month. I have it for sale for like $5.5 million. Another one, to be honest, high-end luxuries for the birds. Like I would rather be selling all my bread and butter like all day long. But that's where it just remember what business shifts the fastest. So we just have this real big passion to get into luxury. Be very mindful that you don't lose the business that's also the bread and butter, to be honest. I would sell $100,000 homes the same time I could sell $1 million home. And that's 10 relationships that I can build. And if I do things correctly, I get 2 to 3 more deals for each person as well. 2 to 3 more relationships built per those people versus the one. Just saying. Although then I get paid and I'm like, damn, this was great. So, I would work a whole year for this paycheck. I remember my first big paycheck, I looked at it and cashed it for 2 weeks. So I just stared at it. It was like $86,000 and that was only 50%. And I said, I'm just gonna stare at this. I would work like 80 hours a week for this. This is ridiculous. Anyway, so my home court, so I have 3 restaurants. I have YOLO, Beach House, and I have Runyon. All kind of the same thing, all a little bougie, but I've managed the bougie people for so long, so I don't really mind. And so what happens is the networking stack. So I have home court advantage at all 3 of these restaurants. And then I do networking stack. So what is a networking stack? Well, I told you guys about those calls to make, and you should be 1 to 1:30. You should be looking for an opportunity to be able to meet with them one-to-one, because remember what the pyramid is. You have the highest impact to grow a referral-based business. What was at the top? One-to-one, belly-to-belly conversations, relationships, right? So how do we get belly-to-belly? Well, when you were making those phone calls and you're looking for that, that best plumber, that new hard money lender, or whatever it is, or maybe you haven't met with your lender that was here, or the insurance person that you just met too, like those are opportunities for relationships. Who's their preferred realtor? Do they have one? So I'm gonna go through what the questions are and you'll get that. So I'm gonna give an example. I do this on Thursdays. I have a theme day for every week. And so Thursdays I call my networking stack days. So in a perfect world, and I did this since the beginning of my career. So let's say that I'm meeting with Dan, the divorce attorney. Because what are always people, I love when people are asking, like, so how's the market? Well, I know the scripts for that, like, why are you asking, blah, blah, blah. And people, they're like, well, the market's just so bad though right now. Like, I don't know how you're just selling. And I'm like, well, people always move for multiple Ds. It used to be 4 Ds, now it's 8 Ds. What am I talking about? What are the Ds? Divorce, death, divorce, death, disease, diapers, diamonds, babies, marriage, deployment, and I think we said death, wait, death, divorce, disease, debt, diamonds, deployment, diapers, and the job. That's what it is. And the job, right? People are always gonna move for those 8 reasons, no matter what. There's no difference if the market's up or it's down. And are you the person that they're gonna call? Because how much did you love on them and how much do you know about them and how much do you serve them as well? Make sense? Okay. So I'm gonna meet with the divorce attorney because I need a new divorce attorney. By the way, I got my certificate to get be a divorce professional. I've never even been married. However, better believe I was like, that's 2 to 3 transactions per person. I'm in. So Dan is the divorce attorney. And then I have this new agent, Tracy, that I would like to coach. She's a realtor. And I want to coach her. And then after that, I'm going to meet one of my ambassadors that I haven't met in a while, because I meet with my ambassadors once a quarter in person. Okay? Let's just go with that CPA, even though he's fired. Let's just say he wasn't really fired, right? Oh, his name really is Dan. We can't have 2 Danny. You get the point. All right, so can you say that the divorce attorney can also benefit from knowing Tracy? And Tracy can benefit from knowing the CPA?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So what does this look like? I'm gonna paint it for you and I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So I show up at the restaurant, show up at YOLO. Valet already knows my name, right? I show up at the restaurant, let's say that the person's not there yet. I give the hostess, Natasha, the 3 people that I'm gonna be meeting. And let's say the guy, Dan, first comes with me and he's at the front desk, or if he's not, they at least know who's gonna be meeting me. Let's say Dan enters at the front desk. He can already see that I'm talking to other people. Other people know me. The hostess says, Tara, would you like your usual table? Yes, I would. Me and Dan sit down and be like, usual table sometimes. I'm like, yes. I see the server comes by, the other server waves to me. Server comes over, Susie comes over, and Susie's like, hey, Tara, how are you? I'm like, I'm so good. Did your son win that soccer game last Saturday? How'd they do? Hey, how's your daughter's college application going? Did she apply yet to that school? Right? And so then they're like, yeah, they're like, Tara, do you want your usual setup? Absolutely. Okay, be right back. Dear, this guy's probably like, what is going on, right? Like, who did I talk? I didn't even talk about myself, right? And what am I bringing to that appointment? I'm bringing an item of value. I keep books in my car. I'm sure Hall TLs do too. I keep 10 books, typically have 7 levels of communication. I keep the one thing book, because that could be for non-realtors, and I'll keep the MREA book. Right now I have Sean Rawls, Fearless Leader though. However, items of value, and I'll bring like hand sanitizer. I have promo items. Everything's a flamingo. Everything's pink. Can't help it. You'll never catch me. I wear a uniform every day. I only wear black, pink, or white every day. So what happens is I have a notebook that's open too, and I'm getting to know him. And the first thing I say is, Dan, I'm so excited to meet with you. And by the way, I do have an appointment at 1 o'clock. I do have an appointment at 1 o'clock with Tracy. She's a real estate agent. She's been in the business a little while, and I'm hoping to be able to coach her. And I would love for you to meet her when we meet. Okay. I set the precedent of we done at 1. And I'm gonna connect you to somebody, right? So then we're going through, and then the servers come over, the managers walk by, because they usually walk by and they stop by the table and they greet me too. And they're like, how are you, Tara? I am great. How's your son? Whatever it is, right? And sometimes the chef will come out and say hello. Sometimes the managers will caught my tab. They usually do every 6 to 8 weeks. And it's all this. And I'm getting to know him. How long has he been a divorce attorney? Who's his ideal client? What is important to him? What problems does he have going on in his business right now? What opportunities does he have? How can I help serve him? What are some of his goals or dreams? What is his summer? Does he have anything planned for the summer, etc.? And I'm taking notes, because when people are taking notes, it means they are listening. That's why I told this man I loved him. So people are taking notes, they're listening. So I'm taking notes, I'm getting to know more about him. What I'm doing is I'm looking for a homework assignment. I'm looking for an opportunity that I can help him in some way, and I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. There's gonna be a way that would help him. And sometimes it has nothing to do with business, like at all, like literally nothing. I'm gonna give you a few examples, and then I want to jump back about how this really works. One of my guys said that when I asked him about his summer, because Frog and Ford, he said he was going to some baseball stadiums. His goal was to take his son to all the baseball stadiums in the United States. So my follow-up from him, I went, ooh, start that. And I wrote that down and I started. My follow-up from him after was a book of the history of all the baseball stadiums. $24. Would you say that's an item of value? That I listened to what you said,
Yeah.
right? Another one, I met with my dentist. I did take my dentist to lunch, and I asked them what kind of problems, or I don't really like the word problem, what kind of opportunities are house business, because it's a law of reciprocation. When you ask somebody how's family, they can ask you how's family. You ask somebody how's business, they say how's business, right? So when I asked him, the dentist, what's his biggest opportunity or problem in business right now, he said he doesn't have a good receptionist. He's looking for a good receptionist. So you better believe it. I said, well, what's a good receptionist look like to you? I'm taking notes. And I said, do you have an ad out? He said, yeah. I said, would you mind if I copied that ad and I sent it out to my database and posted on my social media? He was like, you would do that? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Right? From there, what happened is later after meeting, I have to follow up. I called him 2 weeks later during my hour of power. I called him and checked in on him and said, did you find that great therapist? I mean, that great receptionist? And he said, you know what, we actually just found somebody. I said, well, I don't know if that's from what I had put out. However, I just wanted to check in and make sure that you found who you're looking for before I did another push in my database. I said, wow, Tara, you're just so great. What can I do for you? Ding, ding, ding. Like, so we're gonna go through that. So I'm meeting with Dan, the divorce attorney, and I'm looking for that homework assignment. I'm looking for an opportunity that I can follow up with something of value. Maybe it's just somebody that I can connect him to. Maybe he needs the best dog groomer. I don't know. I'm just looking for something. So then I find out more about his business. Who can I refer him business? Who's his ideal client? Then we end the dinner, the lunch, and they usually end up paying too, which is great. It usually ends up being a great day. So then Tracy comes. The hostess is already trained to bring Tracy to my table when I'm done in the middle of the table. Teach people how to treat you, and you better believe all the hostesses also get gifts for me. They're all in my CRM, and I know majority of their goals. I'm actually teaching them how to do how to take advantage of the opportunities that they have, because I started as a hostess and I grew my business from there. And I'm meeting with all the girls and taking them out with the lunch and blah, blah. They're all super young. So Tracy comes, they bring her to my table. Tracy meets Dan. I'm like, Dan, this is the Tracy, that local real estate agent I told you about that you have to meet. Dan is an incredible divorce attorney. I just learned so much about his business. I want you guys to exchange information. I'm gonna use the restroom and I'll be right back. What do you think they talk about when I walk away? Me. Me. How many layers of credibility did I get from the moment Dan came in that restaurant until he left?
Billion.
And I probably didn't have to talk about myself once, but y'all had, we love to talk about ourselves, right? Nobody cares. They care, but they don't. I'm not there. I'm there to serve him. I'm there to learn about him. I'm not there to say what my goals are. I'm not there to talk about what anything. I want to learn about him and build that relationship, right? So, and what happens is, because I have home court advantage, everybody talks about me and I never had to talk about myself. It's so cool, right? So now I solidified. Now I connected into somebody. I do the same thing with Tracy, and I do the same thing with CPA. And even if I don't have to go to the restroom, I still go to the restroom so that they can talk about me. It's a fact. So how did I do this in the very beginning? Because I was broke as hell. I don't know about you, but I was broke. So what I would do is I'd eat a really big lunch and I would go to the same restaurant. This is your tactic of what you're doing. So when are you going? How do you establish a home court advantage? If you already cannot think of place, I would start with the restaurant that is the clientele, the where part. Start with the restaurant that is the clientele that you desire to work with, the type of people. Like if you're a beer and wings guy, go to the beer and wings place. If you're a biker chick, go to the biker bar. Like find your peoples. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Like find your peoples. I tell this one agent, he speaks Indonesian. I'm like, why aren't you at any of the Indonesian restaurants? What are you doing? Like you have a gift that I do not. Those are your people. Like you'll probably get faster business. It's like, it just makes sense. They don't want to listen to me. Little Bristol water, you can't drink. So think about where, and if you already know, if you have a place in mind, anybody have a place in mind? There's like, yeah, okay. And then I would think of, who do you know that works there? Do you know the bartender, the butlers, the manager, the owner? Like, who do you already know that works there that you can connect with? And that's kind of like your way in. However, the win part. The win part is when do we do this? Like, how did I create home court advantage and then expand it out to multiple home courts? And I found a new one the other day, actually 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Bill. Already picked up 2 celebrities from there. I'm like, I'm just staying here. I went there last night and I brought a coaching client with me. He's like, I just want to see how you do it. Within 5 minutes, I met that owner of that restaurant that I'm gonna go meet with next Wednesday. And then I found 2 others. Like, it's just talk to people. We like people anyway. It's your high eyes. Go talk to people. Go meet people. Belly to belly. So what I did was in the beginning, and I still do this now, is I would go to the same restaurant at the same time 2 to 3 times a week for 3 weeks. 2 to 3 times a week for 3 weeks, and you sit at the bar. I don't want you to sit at a table. You're not going to meet anybody that way. You sit at the bar. So what I would do is I'd go during the same time every single day, because what happens is people in the restaurant business tend to work the same hour shifts. Between 2 and 4, restaurants switch over to dinner. Okay, so your staff switches. So I would usually work from like 12 to 5 or 1 to 5. And so I could see both staffs, right? I would sit at the bar, name badge on. Name badge also always goes on your right side. FYI, when I shake your hand, always gonna go here. So I want to be able to shake you, remember my name. You're 98% more likely to remember my name if it's right directly above, not in your heart. So I wear my name badge. I would bring my laptop. On the back of my laptop, there's a sticker that says, have questions about real estate, let's chat. Everything happens pink anyways. I'm doing the same thing that I would do in my office at the restaurant. I'm sending emails, I'm running searches, I'm negotiating inspection reports, I'm negotiating this deal, I'm sending the contracts for them to sign, I'm checking with the title company, I'm setting up new appointments, I'm setting up showings. I'm doing the exact same freaking things. No one is coming into your office to talk to you about real estate besides other realtors. Now, I do believe, I do believe that we cannot pay for culture. And so I like drink the Kool-Aid, and it tastes so good. And I do think it's very important to go to your offices and be a part, and be at your team meetings and be a part of the culture, because you can't pay for this. I've been offered a lot of money to leave multiple times. And for me, could I make more money sometime somewhere else? Maybe. Guess what though? I can't put a value on culture for me. So I'm just, that was my disclaimer on that. Go to your office. So when I'm doing that, what happens is I'm getting to know the bartender. The hostess had purple hair. She smelled really funny. So like I wrote her name down and I asked her name, right? Because you tend to remember somebody's name when you ask them 3 times. I wrote down her name and I said, Susie with purple hair, weird, maybe 20. And then I met the bartender and I got to know the bartender, but because I was broke in the beginning, all I did was eat a really big lunch. And then I would just order an appetizer and not a cocktail, it was too early for that. And I would just order like a drink on our Hallmark usually. And then I would get to know the bartender. And then there's usually a bar back that would come over and I would get to know the bartender. How long she's been in the business? What does she like about working here? How long she lived in the area? Has she got any kids? Like just learn about them. People, right? Then I would get the bar back would walk by and another bartender when they have shift. And then what happens is, it's so great, is you go there consistently and you know what works when you walk in and they're like, do you want your regular? Like, yes. And then you eventually get to meet people. For me, I'm the girl on my laptop at the bar for like 5 hours, 3 hours. And so because sometimes people literally just walk up to me and they're like, you must be in real estate. What do you think I can get from my house? I'm like, let me check. Sarah, right? So it's great. However, again, because I was broke, your biggest tip, and please don't forget this part, it will never work for you. Whatever the bill is, you are tipping minimum 50% for the first 3 weeks. Okay. So again, I budgeted for this. I ate the big lunch and I just ordered 1 appetizer. So if my bill was $10, I left 1. Okay. If my bill was $30, I'm leaving 50, right? They're going to remember you. 1, because you were kind, you were likable. And just because you took up the real estate for a longer time than they expected, you took care of them. Like how long did you take the real estate, you know? So understand that piece. When are you going? That's up to you. If I'm a morning person and I know I got kids to pick up by 12 or whatever it is, like I just like mornings, then find a local coffee shop and pick a mom and pop space. Like pick a small restaurant, a small business owner. And then have you left reviews for them? Have you gotten to know the managers? Have you gotten to know the staff? Like, pick whatever works for you. If you just like to drink, then I don't know, go to a happy hour spot every day. I don't care. Like, you have to make it work for you, right? I had just chosen lunch. Now it's turned into more of like 4 to like 10 p.m. And I gotta tell you this, because I've been doing this consistently for so long, because of what I did was I would sit at the bar for enough time to establish home court advantage before I started doing the networking stacks. And then I was doing home court advantage 1 day a week, and then I would start to get appointments and book with people face to face by using the yellow pages list I gave you for the different business owners. Or the people that gave you the referrals, whatever it is, to get to know them more, right? So you can make it work for whatever you want. Don't get stuck on the times. So what are you bringing? You're always bringing a notebook to take notes. Ideally, an item of value you're bringing as well. And again, if you don't know like what the item of value is yet, I should have in here. Like I have little things, like I have bottle openers, keychains for the flamingos. I have flamingo eyeglass and phone screen cleaners. That's my favorite hack. I have files. I have hand sanitizers like that are branded. Those are items of value, or it's a book, depending on what it is. And then I have to find the homework assignment. Make sense? So that's what are you bringing? And a good attitude and be presentable because they're judging you. You know, like they're judging you. It's like, and I think that's it. What else do I have? Who, what, when, where? Who are you inviting? Again, the people that you want to love on, the people that you want to connect with. If you've been in the business a while, I start at the top. Who is the wealthiest person in my database? Who is the most successful person in my database? Who is the kindest person in my database? Who is the person that I've always desired to know and get to know more, whether they give me business or not, yet I just want to get to know them. Who is the person that everyone talks about that I would love to get to know and see how I can refer the business, right? The who is really up to you. We talked about the what, we talked about the when, that's up to you, the where, why, we know how it is. You're building a data bank, essentially. And we talked a little bit about the how. Can I go into what are you saying at these things? We talked about Ford and Frog, and I'm not going to go into any more conversations about that. We know what that is. And if not, you guys, I used to role play, like I'll never run out of questions ever. So I used to role play like a question game of like, you know, who could ask, we just ask questions back and forth. Just role play Ford and Frog questions until I mastered them. Like a public speaking role. I've been in public speaking classes since, anybody heard of Toastmasters? Let me go to that, that's great. I just thought it was cool to go to school, little bit I know, but here we be. What are we saying? So on your page, I believe I have the 3 most referral generating questions. One of them is, called the chosen one script. Chosen one. The chosen one. And to be honest, it still sometimes gives me like that tickly little feeling when I have to ask it. And you guys are in South Florida, so I don't have to go into how many realtors we have here. It's different than all the other areas I teach, right? So the chosen one conversation looks like this. Well, and I don't, you have to decide when is a good time to have that conversation. Like it could either be when I was getting to know Dan, and if I helped him solve a problem and I followed up with, and he was like, damn, like you're awesome. What can I do for you? Usually that's when I'll have the chosen one script, or sometimes I'll just lay it on them regardless. Usually I tend to do it though once I've done something for them and gave them value, and then they're like, what can I do for you? Usually I'll do it then, just depends, it's up to you. So chosen one script. When you, your family member, neighbor, or coworker have a real estate need, you, your family member, coworker, or your neighbor have a real estate need, who do you refer that business to? Who do you refer that business to? And I'm not gonna lie, still today, I still get that tickle. I mean, believe in my value a lot more now than ever before. However, like, if you're not sure what your value is, you don't believe there, maybe you need to write out what your value proposition is first. Like, what do you offer? Why are people so lucky to work with you? Whether you have all the experience or not, are you kind? Like, are you a good person? Like, that's value proposition. So when you, your family member, coworker, or spouse, or neighbor, sorry, not spouse, have a real estate need, who do you refer that business to? Now, because we're in South Florida, is it safe to say that it's usually not us? Right? And if they say, well, you, well, awesome. I love to hear that. So I gotta ask you, in the next 60 days, if you come across somebody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, will you please introduce me to that person? Sure, awesome. And when you introduce them to me, will you introduce us via text message? Because usually when you just give them my number, it usually doesn't work out, they never call. Will you introduce us via text? Awesome, I appreciate that. So yes, it's you. Okay, great. End it with a question and an action item. I gave them a timeline in the next 60 days, in the next 30 days, in the next 90 days, like 90 is too far out. In the next 30, in the next 60 days, when you come across a real estate need of someone that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or listen, I was a rental queen. You want rental deals or rent? Will you please refer me that business? They just say, yes, you still didn't give them, oh, you didn't teach them how to treat you. So then I said, okay, great. Will you introduce me to that person? Yes. Okay, awesome. And when you introduce me to them, will you please introduce us via text together? I don't do email. I don't know about y'all, but I swear, I mean, I'm at an average of 358 text messages a day, let alone the emails. I don't want to go there. Like, sometimes I've just abandoned it, which is not good. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. And so email is just not my thing. And I taught them how to treat me. Cause like, how many times have you ever had somebody be like, hey, I saw some guy I met last week. I gave him your number. And you're like, oh, thanks so much. Did they call? No. And I can't follow up with them because I don't even know who they are. You met them at the store. So like now I'm teaching them how to treat me. Make sense? Okay. So a lot of the times though, and this happens often, it's usually not me. When you, a family member, neighbor, and or coworker have a real estate need, who do you refer that business to? Oh, well, Susie. I don't know why I'm on a Susie kick today. Susie, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, Susie. I got so many questions. How do you know Susie? Oh, my family's been using her for a while. Oh, okay, Susie. Is Susie a full-time or a part-time realtor? Have you worked any deals with Susie yet? Or you just feel like, you know, your family uses them and you should probably be using Susie? Just curious. Does Susie live in the area? Where does Susie serve? Like, I got questions. And so what I'm getting at, I want to ask as many questions possible. The person who talks the most dominates the conversation, and the person who asks the most questions controls the conversation. Do you want to dominate or control? I mean, I may seem like a dominant woman. However, I prefer to control. At least in my professional life. So when I'm asking them about Susie and who's Susie and how do they know Susie, and my follow up to that is, well, it could be one of two things. Either I learned after asking so many questions about Susie, they're like, listen, I'm just using Susie. Like, Susie's my chick. Like, I have to use Susie. They get a letter D in my database, which means drip campaign. I'm not inviting them to any more events. There's no more one-on-ones. I'll probably unfollow them on social media. I won't unfriend them. They won't know that I will unfollow them. I'm not putting any more love into them. They're out. I want to work with the people who are willing to give me a chance. So if that was not the end of the conversation and they were like, well, you know, Susie, this, you know, yeah, but my mom, you know, they've used her, and, you know, I kind of feel like I should. I'm like, well, you know, Susie can still get paid. I can pay Susie referral fee. Or I can say, listen, I am not looking for all of your business. I'm just looking for you to see how I do things differently. So in the next 30 days, if you come across somebody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, would you be willing to introduce me to that person? Awesome. And when you do, can you put us together in a text message? Therefore, I can make sure that I can follow up with them. No pressure too, whether they're ready now or in 10 years, doesn't matter to me. Sound good? Thank you so much for being willing to give me a chance. I appreciate it. And then you better believe you're gonna go back in my CRM, and then she's gonna get a call at the end, I'm gonna follow up, handwritten note, there's systems to this. And we don't have time for that, and standard follow-ups essentially. And then I'm gonna call her in 30 days if I didn't get a referral. I would believe so. Sometimes it's like that promise script that we have, right? And it's like, if I didn't get something by the closing, I'd be like, did I do something wrong? No, because when we started working together, you said that you promised if I delivered on everything that I had done, that you'd be willing to, so there's ways around that. However, so that's a chosen one conversation. That is my favorite, 3 most referral generating question. Well, it's a chosen one. Can I be that person? And the next follow up to that is when you come across the next person in the next 30, 60, 90 days, would you be willing to introduce me to that person? Then you have great people script, phenomenal one. I know how important your time is these days, and I'm looking to grow my business. I want to grow my business with great people like you. Something I found is that great people know great people. So with that in mind, out of all the people that you know, who is the next person that you know that you think will be buying, selling, or investing in real estate that I can help? Oh, I don't know anybody right now. Okay, and I can either go chosen one script on that and be like, well, when you do, or your family member or neighbor or coworker have real estate need, who do you refer that business to, right? Or if I've already had that conversation with them, then I could bring that back. So, and I give them, when you ask a question, there's this thing called pause. First person to talk loses. When I do, and you can laugh at me, when I ask questions or when I'm at a listing appointment, I'm like, so are you ready to put me to work for the job to sell your home? And I'm like, just shut up, Tara, shut up. I'll curl my toes when I ask those questions, and it hurts so bad. It just reminds me to shut up until they talk. Because sometimes I'm like, well, you need time to think of it, and then you just talk yourself out of it. Like, no, like shut up, right? So, and so great people script, that's probably one of my favorites. And I had that conversation with the sellers on Saturday, and I said, you guys seem to be great people, and I don't choose to work with everybody that I come across. So, during this time, I actually do it by TC fees. Do you guys charge TC fees? Okay, if you're not using the TC, you're doing a disservice to your business. You are not in the paperwork business. You're in the paperwork.
What is the CC?
Transaction coordinator. Once you get a contract, they manage all your files. I don't even know how to get paid. I've never done that before. Where was I going with this? So referrals, does that make sense? Are there different scripts? You guys haven't had a script book for this. It's a little different. Could anybody here interested in doing a business like this?
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because you're still sitting around. To be honest. All right, so from there, I want to give time for Tamika text. Yes. I want to give time for her. So what she's going to do is, she already knows, she's taught this class and a few times with me. I actually gave you guys, I wasn't going to go through it. These are 7 steps to a power note. When I said that you're going to follow up with steps to a power note, there's actually a system in how do you write a handwritten note. I promise you. How you write a handwritten note is crucial. And it actually is like a side, I text you. Here. Oh, she says she's here. Okay. I text you guys a thing too. I'm sorry. So what I would do is I would actually do rough drafts of a handwritten note before I would actually write one. The hardest thing on this handwritten note is actually not using words I, me, or my. Really hard. So it's like, I was so happy to meet you. I'm so looking forward to coming over to your house, and I'm so excited to be working with you. And I, me and my partner are so excited to work with, like, I, and me, and my, right? So be careful with that. And so what I'll do is I'll write a rough draft. It's very different. And there's also a thing about how to get praise. Like I say, you were such a pleasure to meet. You are such a pleasure to meet. You truly emulate what it takes to be a strong, independent woman. And it was amazing to see the way that you were directing to your children that are quite special as well. Right? And then again, and it depends on what it is, right? I'm giving, so in here, it even says give praise, acknowledgement, acknowledge a factor, something that they did and whatnot. So that's why I'm taking notes. I'm always going to refer back to something like you and your son do deserve to go see all those baseball games, all those baseball stadiums. You guys are going to have the best time ever. Not like I'm looking forward to seeing your photos and your journey. Like, no, I'm giving praise and acknowledgement. Make sense? Okay. Last thing in there that I have for you guys, that I'm not really going to cover is, for enriching rituals. You can pick which ones you want to do. I truly believe, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing this, especially in my eyes, win the morning, win the day, period. Miracle Morning, if you guys are ever interested in learning more about that, it's a worldwide community. And when you read 7 Levels of Communication, that's a story about Rick and Michelle and Don. Part 2 of that book is Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents. Very quick read, and it's part 2 of the story, the fable in 7 levels. The part 2 story. It's what happens to them after, which I'm not telling you. And it's a very, I would not survive. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Tara, if you could make, not this year, your best year in business ever, if you can make by 2026 your best career, your life by then in 2 years, what does that look like? What's the one thing that you need to do? What's the one thing that you need to change? And he goes, it's okay, you probably need some time to think about it. I said, no, I need no time to think about it. Miracle Morning, never skip a Miracle Morning routine. That's the solution. That's the domino effect that hits all the other dominoes. The Miracle Morning routine is, it could either be a 6-minute routine or it could be 2 hours. I'm very diligent about it. And when I don't do it, I'm off. So it's called Savers, Savers. I'm not gonna go into that, you guys, for another class. The one that I did give you guys, pre-leave ritual, like ideally like cleaning up your desk and whatnot before you leave. Nighttime ritual, I get everything ready the night before. And then the last one is the Sunday ritual. So I'd be curious to know if you guys have it on your worksheet, which one of those do you do any, if any, now? You know, I find it funny that when we were kids, you know, if we weren't on a schedule, we were screwed up, right? And when we went to school, the bell rings at this time, you go to this class at this time, you go to this center at this time, even in preschool, the kids played in house center this time, they played in art center, it's the same thing, right? And then when we become adults and we think like, we don't need a schedule, like we don't need a routine, like we've outgrown it. But then we have kids and we're like, they gotta be on a routine, like if we're not down by nap time, by like 11:30, it's gonna be a mess. Like we gotta be on a routine. They have to be fed at this time, they have to poop at this time, like then we go, but then we still don't really have a schedule for ourselves, like routine, right? There's a difference between routines and rituals. These are for enriching rituals. Routines are things that just become routine. Rituals that if you don't do it, your world is upside down. My biggest one, and then I'm gonna bring Tamika on, is the Sunday night routine. I am so crazy about it. Once every Sunday, it takes me about 2-3 hours to do it. And then once a month, it takes me about 6 to 7 hours. What do I mean by that? And you guys can follow me on social media. You'll see every Sunday I usually post about it. And I gave you guys what that looks like. So every Sunday, I look at the weather and I decided what all my outfits are for the week. And I hang them up in a little area, right? If my gym clothes, I purposely roll the underwear with the leggings, with the shirt, with my socks, all rolled in a little ball together, like I'm 2 years old, right? Sneakers on top of the sneakers, right? So I've been wearing a uniform now for 6 years. I looked at Gary Keller. He wears the same freaking thing every day. I looked at Steve Jobs, who wore the same freaking thing every day. And I was like, well, how can we like get rid of this? What happens is decision fatigue, especially as a high I gotta get rid of decision fatigue. I do not have time to make decisions. Like I need it to be gone, because if not, I don't know what I'm wearing. I'm like, I gotta teach that class today in Naples. What's the weather? What should I wear today? Like, and then you stand there, like I'm exhausted because I'm having to make decisions and I'm late, right? So Sundays, I pull out all my clothes and whatnot. I do all my meal preps of what I'm gonna eat. Like I knew how many days I was gonna be on the road this week, so I only really meal prep for 2 days. I looked at my calendar of all the meetings I was gonna have. I knew Thursday was supposed to rain, so I put my extra umbrella in the car already. I fill up my gas tank, I get a car wash, do all my laundry, dish it, everything is done on Sundays. If I don't do it, my world is chaos, complete chaos. I'm very, very diligent about it. And the reason why I wear that uniform is because it also created the decision fatigue. So I only wear black, pink, or white. Obviously, my brand being a flamingo, and I'm the easiest person to ever get gifts for. I don't think I've bought anything flamingo. And I picked flamingos because my brand was always pink. And it started to catch on because I live and breathe my brand. And then I learned that flamingos actually symbolize elegance and beauty. And flamingos are the bird that is the most social and family oriented, and the bird that lives the longest in their category of bird. And I looked at my family and I said, we're about to change everything. And I'm rebranding, and we're gonna be one big flock, and we're just gonna be flamazing and flamingo all around town. And they were like, okay. So by me only wearing black, pink, or white, sometimes teal, when I go into a store, where's the black, white section? Where's the pink? Oh, I'm not in the brown section. I'm not in the blue section. I'm not in any of that. I go shopping online, filter colors. I only need to look at these colors. I don't need to look at anything else. Decision fatigue is out. I end up saving time, money, and energy. Because I already wore this shirt yesterday. Nobody knows. I'll probably wear it again on Friday. At least that's what I wrote down. Nobody knows. I wear the same thing every freaking day, but we're all black. No one's going to know, nor do they care. I'll just wear like a different pink purse or something, right? Like nobody cares. And somebody who sells ultra luxury real estate and has been in the business for a while and do pretty well. I don't even own any designer purses and stuff. Like I don't spend my money in that. I spend my money in experiences and investments. I ain't got time for that. Like the U-Haul does not follow the hearse. Just saying. That's all I gotta say about that. Let me bring Tamika on, and you guys can pick. I want you to at least write down though which one you do now and which one is desirable for you. And then also, oh, actually, you know what? Can I go to the right really quick? The last slide. One more. Oh, can I ask you for a favor? Can you please help me solve a problem? Or can you please help me for an opportunity is a better way to put it. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. If you could please open up your phone and edit and take a picture of this. I desire to be a bold coach, and I am trying out in August, and you actually need 80 reviews for classes that you teach, or 100, I don't know what it is. And so I'm actually not going to be on the list as a speaker, but at the very, very bottom, it's going to say other or add. And I would like you to please put in my name. I would love that. If you please put in my name, and listen, you can put whatever the truth is. What is the name of the class? It's Relationships to Referrals. R to R, Relationships to Referrals. This is one of many that I teach. If you guys want me to come back, you just have to tell your people. And so if you could just put what your honest opinion is, and if this was of value, if whatever it is, this is my way to ask you for reviews, essentially. And I will never know who posted anything, so I appreciate you very much. It's not, you have to add it. Go all the way to the bottom of each one that says like who's the instructor, you go all the way to the bottom and put Tara Carter. And then for the class, it's not even on there. We'll go all the way to the bottom and it'll say what you put other, and just put R to R, Relationships to Referrals. I'm dying to know how many class yet. I don't even know. Do you think it'd be helpful if we had this class and people talk more about it? It's not like this business is not rocket science. We just tend to like overcomplicate everything. Or what happens is you have some momentum. Oh, and don't do this. You're gonna learn this one real quick. You have some momentum, or you're like, but this person does that really well. She does farming really well. That guy does social media really well. She does referrals and home court really well. I'm gonna do all those. No, like pick 1 to 3, and that's it. Anything else that has nothing to do with that is out.
I just went through that yesterday. I was going back and forth with myself saying, did I join the right place? Maybe I should go to another place because I see new agents over there already listing. Then my husband was like, you know what, just stop, shut up, and go to sleep.
Well, we always think the grass is greener on the other
On
side.
the other
I mean, for
side, yeah.
KW, I'm a better person because of something.
Mhm.
I could not put a price on it. However, I'm just talking about, and the ones that are veterans or have some business, go back and trace your sources of business that have been working really well for you. And your referral people and what sources, and go all in on that. You know, people talk about like their goals. What's your big goal for this year? What's this? And I was like, honestly, just to repeat what I did last year because it worked pretty damn well. I just want to be consistent with all of that. I just want to do the exact same thing better. That's it. And I just want to be healthy. That's all I got. I got nothing else. With health, I have nothing. I have no wealth. I don't have anything. So that's my only focus is. So I'm gonna bring Tamika on, and she is absolutely incredible. She's gonna give you some. I'm sure you guys have an MCTT, Market Center Tech Trainer. Do you have one? We just got one. However, I told you she is a regional award winner, and before she used to create curriculums for an entire school board, where she would have to train like the principals and whatnot. She's probably one of the most educated women that I know. And so what I'm gonna do, Tamika, is I'm gonna make you a co-host. Or am I not a co-host in here?
You're the host.
Can I have you unmute, baby girl?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how do I turn it up?
I will do that.
Hi, T.
Hello. Hello,
How are
everybody.
you?
How are y'all doing? I'm doing well.
Hi.
Doing very well today. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
What are you seeing?
The Google Drive.
Okay, that's not what you're supposed to see. You should, hold on, let me look.
You got referrals for Savannah too. That's your girl. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. So, and speaking of exactly what we went over, and she's probably been to a few places and done these. So she'll kind of, she'll give you some actionable things. If you have your computers, I would take them out. If not, I would take some notes. But she's gonna give you some actionable things. Take it away, team.
All right. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Tamika Barron. I am located in Savannah, Georgia. Tara gave you a little bit of background about me, but I'll just kind of add a little bit to it. So I have been licensed in real estate since 2018, came over to KW in 2019. Tara knows she's played an instrumental part in what I have done with real estate. However, a big piece of that has been coming on as a market center technology trainer, as well as a top producing agent in our market center. So what I want you all to know with all of this is my background is in education. I did that for 15 years, 6 years as an elementary school teacher, and then 9 years where I was a literacy coach over 11 elementary schools. And then when I left for 6 years, I was a professional development specialist over 55 schools. That was elementary, middle, and high school. So the things that I teach you today, we are going to do them, and I'm going to teach them to you so that they are manageable chunks. I don't want you all to ever feel fascinated by all of the information that I'm giving you. So I'm just going to really focus on 2 individual components. One of the biggest pieces to remember with all of this is, even though I am the Market Center Tech Trainer and the program that we use within Keller Williams for our CRM is Command, the things that I show you can be done on any CRM. I just happen to use Command because it does everything that I need for it to do, and I'm already paying for it. So we are going to go on ahead and kind of dive into all of this. And just so you know, you can follow me on social media on Instagram at Tamika Barron. And this very next slide has the tech resources that we will use today. So if you scan that QR code, and I'll also have a link sent out to you all, you'll have access to these documents that you will see. There's going to be 2 different ones that are in that folder. So if you don't get it now, that's okay. We'll get a chance to kind of come back to it a little bit later. And then Tara, can you tell me who's in the room with me?
A little mixture of newer, but more like been in the business, not like PC.
Okay, how many people do I have in the room?
15, 20.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So,
And Stephanie Ross.
hey, Stephanie. All right. So the very first thing that I'm going to actually show you, we're going to actually come back to the Gmail piece, is when it comes to tagging. So when you are looking at various tags within Command, y'all talk to me. What is it that you're currently, how are you tagging your database?
DTD2 and referral partners, KWYP, luxury, community within KW.
Okay. Somebody else besides Stephanie, tell me, how are you tagging people?
Where I meet them.
So
Say that one more time.
Buyer sellers and where they meet them.
Okay. All right. Good. Now, what is the purpose of tagging?
Keep track of
go back to.
who they even are.
Okay. All right. So how many of you are actually using your CRM in this capacity, or are you just saying this is how I tag, but I don't actually practice it? Tara, tell me how many people are raising their hands.
Nobody. One.
Okay,
They're
exactly.
lying, I know.
So here's the
liar.
thing, y'all. When you look at your database, a tag is essentially an adjective to describe that individual. It is extremely difficult for you to try to keep track of this information. So why not use a system that is just going to keep track of it? We sometimes tend to make our life more difficult by trying to store all of the knowledge up here, as opposed to utilizing the systems and tools that are readily available for us. I am going to show you my personal command. And when I come in here, you'll notice, and I always tell people, if you click that little red over here, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I want y'all to be able to see something. Okay. Y'all hopefully should be able to see that a little bit better now. Okay. So when I click on this little red piece over here, it will expand all of these out. But what I want to look at today is we're just going to focus on the contacts feature. When I go into contacts, you will notice that I have all of these different tags for people. So I'm just going to click on this gentleman right here, Adnan. Adnan has a bunch of different tags. I'm just going
Can you
to,
read them?
yep, I sure am. Can y'all see them okay? Is that better if I blow it up a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, so here we go. He is a Facebook lead or a social media lead that I got from a Facebook ad. He was interested in a property listed at 518 Amsonia Circle in Guyton, 31312. He is a buyer who is looking between the $200,000 to $300,000 price range. He is a DISC personality of a D, and I have him listed as DTD2A because his first name starts with A, and I call people by their first name, not their last name. So that's how I do my DTD2 tagging. Is that a lot of information for somebody I'd never met?
Yes.
Okay. I have created all of these tags because when I give him a call, I need to be able to reference where did he come from? What was it interested in? Me as an agent, it just makes me look better. Let's call a spade a spade. I had to figure out this DTD, or I'm sorry, the DISC D personality, which what does D mean? What did Tara teach you about earlier?
Direct.
Yeah, he's direct. And the reason how I ended up figuring that out was in a text conversation. So I ended up putting him on a smart plan that is my Facebook ad speed to lead. It sent out this original text message to him. And because I'm using Twilio, it tracks all of this information. At the same time that this text message was sent out, he also received an email. The very next day, I put him on an 8x8 smart plan, and he got another text message from me. I want you all to notice here the number of words that I'm using and also the number of words I'm using here. I sent him another text the very next day. I still have not heard from Adnan. He got another email. This is my last call. And then the smart plan ended. Because I had him on the 8x8, it sent another introductory email as well as another text message. And I can see that it came from my 8x8. Just wanted to check in. How is your day going? Any real estate needs I can help with? And guess what? I got him. All right. He says, yes, still looking, 3 bedrooms. Now, notice the way that I changed the way that I am talking to him. Before, I had a lot of words because I am a high I. But now I'm saying this man is very simplistic. He's either a D or he's a C, one of the two. Okay, he's just giving me a couple words here. I'm going with he's a D. And we go through, and this is how I end up figuring out his DISC personality solely based off of text message. And then once I actually did have a conversation with him, it was solidified that he was a DISC D. Why would I want to include DISC D as a tag?
So you adjust how you communicate with them.
Exactly. If I send him, and y'all can see it here, when I sent all of these words, he didn't respond to me. As soon as I was very direct, I got a response. So notice the same thing from what Tara was talking about with your referrals and relationships. Change those things and also put it as a tag. Again, these are adjectives to describe the person that you're dealing with. So as opposed to trying to be like, wait a minute, is that person a D or were they a C? I can't remember. I don't have to ever go through that because I already got it right there. I know he's a D. I know exactly how I need to communicate with this individual. And guess what? I also do this for agents. If an agent gets on the phone with me, if we're doing a deal, and I notice that they're super duper chatty, guess what? I get to be my normal self and just chit chat all the way down with them. So that is where that tag kind of comes in. When I go through and I create all of my different tags, there is a series of them that I actually like to include. Each one of my tags, let's see, I'm sorry, y'all, hold on. I just lost. I got multiple screens open, just so y'all know. Okay, here we go. So you'll also notice that Adnan was tagged as a D. I have B, I have C, I have all of these different tags for individuals. That all comes into play here with when you're grading your database. Now, if you create a tag for your A+ for your ambassadors, your champions, your potential champions, your friends and family, and then those you have on drip, it makes it easier when you are looking at your database to know exactly where each individual is in accordance to this. The other piece that I have are these popular tags. I have city, state, zip code, price point, buyer, seller, investor, renter, referral, partner, lender, and then I have all of my DTD2s. And these are all on that QR code that you all can scan. And what I like about these are when I come in and I look at someone's tag, I know exactly the area that they are interested in. So here's a little bit of a backstory. I had a property listed, or in Savannah, there is an area of town that is called the Highlands. The Highlands is very unique because if you were to think perpendicular, so like a T, there is on the top part of the T where the Highlands is actually located, it switches zip codes. It also technically switches cities. So in that area, everybody calls it Pooler, Georgia. However, technically it's Savannah, Georgia. The other piece to it is even though it's Savannah, the zip code is 31407, which actually is not a Savannah zip code. It actually belongs to another city that's called Port Wentworth. So if somebody is ever doing a search on Zillow, on the Command app, or I'm sorry, a consumer app, realtor.com, if they type in Pooler, Georgia, looking for houses in the Highlands, they will never find them. Does that make our job more complicated? if you can't find the property or the neighborhood that you're looking at, yeah, 100% it does. So what ended up happening as a result of that was I had to be very strategic with the way that I created my tags. And as opposed to just putting, and I'm going to actually just search for one real quick. As opposed to just putting the property address, 48 Hawkhorn Court, I had to add in Savannah and 31407. Those three pieces tell me exactly where that property is located. Because if I would have put what everybody calls it, Pooler, that property would never be found because it would be incorrect. So that is the reason why. And you may have some weird areas like that around you all where it's the city is called one thing, but the mail address is something completely different. So it's important to incorporate those things in here, which is why I do property address and then the city and the zip code tied to it. Now, the other portion with all of this are things like the price point. So I'm going to show you all how you get to these because you can do all of this in bulk. And the top right-hand corner where your name is, if you click on that and then go to settings, over on the left-hand side, you would click on command settings because we are working in command. Then you all tell me out loud, which of these options do you think I'm going to click on if I want to be able to add tags to my contacts? Exactly. Thank you. All right. Now, which of these options do you think I would click on? Exactly. All right. Now, here's the thing. I have y'all say that because sometimes y'all get into stuff and then you get confused. You're like, I don't know what to click on. I promise you, it's like the most logical thing. And if not, you can definitely kind of back out of it. All right. So you'll notice in here, I have all of my different tags. And then I also have different price points. Now here's something I don't know if you knew, but down here at the very bottom where it says 1 out of 10, if I click that, I can change it to 100. So that way I can just kind of have a continuous scroll. I do my price points in 100,000s. And once I get up into the higher price points, they're in 500. So I do 100K and below, and notice everything is the same color. I do that because it helps my brain to know that if I see it and it's a gray tag, then it is associated with the price point. Then I have all of my property tags are in a specific color. And then all of my zip codes are also in a specific color. I have different places. I have states that are in here. I have assistant team leader, just other descriptors, and then birthday, all of these different pieces, just so that way I know I can have as many descriptors for an individual as possible. It's very simplistic. You click on create tag, and then you can create that tag. Let's say that for Abby, if I was going to add another tag to her, if I just click on the edit tool, I can come down here to tag, and let's say it's something that is 123 Sesame Street. I can do create a custom tag. Mine are this blue color, click add, and now click save. And Abby has that tag. Okay. The other thing that is so nice about this is a lot of times, like once you end up tagging everyone, if you say, you know what, I don't really want to go through all of these filters up here. If you just double click on a tag, it'll pull up everybody who is associated with that tag. Same thing if I do 400 to 500. There they all are. Okay, so that's just a quick little cheat when you're working with your filters and whatnot in Command. What questions do you all have for me regarding tags? None? All right, let's keep it moving.
I have one question.
Okay.
So I have like a spreadsheet that I wanted to upload, so that it just adds like 100 contacts at once. There's no way to just add tags quickly like that. Like you have to go in individually each time.
No, so you
Yeah.
actually can, hold on. You can. So hold on one second. Let me get this back. All right. So you can do a bulk tag. So for instance, if I wanted to add just these first 2 people, all right, let me do that again. What I want you to do is notice this section that's right here where it says selected and then 0. Over here to the right-hand side, as soon as I select one individual, this box pops up. So if I do 2 of them, if I click on actions, you have the option to add a tag. Also notice this, you can do the same thing with the smart plan. So if I click add tag, I can go in and say, okay, let's just do this 1 million to 2 million. If I click on it, and then let's say that I need to put them in 31302, and let's just say it's not that, but we'll do that for the sake of what we were doing. And then I wanted to tag them as A's also because of their first name. Then if I click on submit, we hit refresh. And I must not have clicked on, hold on, let's see, Abby got them. I don't know why hers didn't do it, hold on. But they are for this Abby, they're in there. I'll have to double check why it didn't put both of them. I don't know what that was about. So does that make sense how to do a bulk tag?
Helps a lot, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody else have any questions about tagging? Does it make sense why you should tag people the way that you do? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, thank y'all. Here's the other thing that I want you all to be aware of. Here where I have the DTD2, in that folder, you're going to see where I have a DTD2 schedule. And what this does, so for instance, let's just say that we are in the week of February 5th, F and G, and I need to text the letter Y. I tag everybody with individual letters. So for this week, all I have to do is come up here to my filters, click on tags. Let me go back because my brain did not keep what I needed, F and G. And I can do DTD2 F and then DTD2 G. Click apply. Now it takes all of my contacts and I know I have 15 people that I need to contact this week. Now, here's the thing. Contacting 15 people in one day, for some people, that would be absolutely fine. However, if I want to break this into smaller chunks, if I were to think, okay, Monday through Friday, 5 days, 15 people, 15 divided by 5, how many people do I need to contact a day? 3, good. So I can just go through here, contact the first 3, put in any notes that I need to, then go to the next 3. So I can very easily filter everybody that I need to contact and then go through just using basic math principles and figure out who do I need to talk to each individual day. Is 3, if you have a lot on your plate, which would be better, to try and contact 15 people a day or 3 people a day? Yeah.
Right.
Now, what if I said I need to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I know I'm going to contact 5 people a day. So by just using your general filters, because you have everybody appropriately tagged in your database, it makes life so much more simplistic because if you're time blocking, you know exactly what needs to happen. And I have this little today pad that I put all of my stuff on that I need to do for each day. And then I can just go through very easily, get everything checked off and keep it moving. All right. Next up, I'm going to pop out a command and we are going to look at some email stuff. So here's the thing. Gmail creating templates. How many of you use templates in your business? And somebody will tell me how many hands are raised. Or how many of you are using Gmail templates? Let me say it. 2 people?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm about to put y'all onto something. Gmail templates are the absolute best thing that I probably know about. And the reason being is We say as realtors the same stuff all the time, all the time. So one of the things that I have created are different templates. So for instance, let's say that I'm doing an open house and I have some people who walk in the door and they need to speak with a lender. All I have to do is say, you know what? Well, I've got a couple lenders that I can connect you with. If you can provide me with your email address, I'll go on ahead and get that sent over to you. So they give me their email address and I can come in here, type it in really quickly. Then down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to notice that there are 3 dots. You may not have this, but I'm going to teach you how to set it up. Then I have the word templates. I need information for a lender. I'm going to click on lender information for Savannah and looky here. Here we go. Lender information for Savannah and surrounding areas. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, blah, 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 blah. There's my 3 lender partners. I look forward to speaking with you both. If you have any questions, here you go. We're done. All I had to do is put in the email address. Do we not have to send this out all the time? Having it already populated, how does that make me look for those potential buyers?
Organized.
Exactly. We all like to work with organized individuals, so why not become one if you aren't, or upgrade your skills? The same thing is true with offer overviews. I have the templates already in here. I got it for open house file, all of it. But my offer overview, it's in here. It's ready to go. So when I get ready to send an offer over to an agent, it's already pre-populated with all the niceness that I need to say, the highlights of the offer, whatever. And all I have to do is attach it in here. How many of you think that this would be something that would be useful for your business?
Yes.
Everybody.
Okay. So let me teach you how to do this, because I bet some of y'all right now are clicking on your computer talking about, I don't have 3 dots. I don't have 3 dots. Let me show you how to get the 3 dots. All right. Once you open up your Gmail, in the top right-hand corner, which of these do you think means settings?
The total thing.
Exactly. Good. So if I click on settings, I'm going to now, under quick settings, click on see all settings. Once I get to see all settings, sometimes this confuses me. I gotta make sure. All right, I'm gonna go to advanced. So settings, see all settings, and then click on advanced. Once you get there, you're gonna notice where it says templates. It's more than likely disabled. Enable it. Once you have that enabled, click Save Changes. And now, anytime you get ready to compose an email, you'll have those 3 dots. Now, again, I have all of this and the directions on how to do it right here for you all. So I'll show you that. I will show you the QR code again, so that way you all can get this information. So now that I have my templates turned on, when I go to compose, do y'all now see the 3 dots if you were working with me to get that done?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the piece that I want y'all to know. Do you see how I already have a pre-populated signature? If you are going to create a template, since this pre-populates, get rid of it before you type out whatever the email is, because if not, it's going to double it. All right, so I've got that done. Whatever the subject is, that is going to be the title of the template. So I'm going to just Naples class. That's going to be the name of it. And then I'm going to say, thank you all for attending today. Here is a copy of all of the resources provided in class. There we go. All right. So we're just going to actually just put that class. And then what I normally would do is put something on the end like this. All right. Now I got that done. All I do in order to save this, click on the 3 dots. When I get to templates, I got to scroll down a little bit. But y'all see here where it says saved draft as template? Once you click on save draft as template, you'll probably see where it'll say save as new template. You click there. It'll ask you to enter a name. So notice that it populated with whatever I had as the subject. And then I click save. And now it's there. I'm going to get rid of this so y'all can see it actually live now. So now if I click on compose, what do I have to click on next? What was it?
Oh, you gotta take off your
You need the
signature.
signature.
Okay, but no, not now. Only when I create the template do I have to get rid of the signature. Good, 3 dots. Now, what do I click on?
Templates.
Templates, y'all are good. What was the name of that?
That class.
There we go, watch. Boom, there it is. Put in the recipient's name, attach whatever I need to attach, hit send, or I don't know if you knew this, you can schedule a send, but I got to put one person in. Let me do myself. If I do schedule, send, then I can say, here's when I need for this thing to go out. That's a 2-for-1 right there. I don't know if you knew you could do that. This little hack in my business has made things so much easier when it comes to when I get referrals. Because here's the thing. When you follow all of the things that Tara talked to you all about in the very beginning, at that point, it's a matter of still using proper communication in order to show your value. So when people are asking things of you, whether it's a listing appointment, whatever it is, by already having these things ready to go, it is going to make your life so much easier because it's just done. It's done. And it makes whoever has referred you look good as well as yourself. So those reviews and things that you want to be able to get, it just elevates the level. Everybody wants a 5-star review. Well, the more communicative I can be and be able to do it in an organized fashion, doing things like having tags because it gives me the information about a person, and then also having things like my emails already pre-populated so that way I can be very quick and not have to try to regurgitate information that I would always use, makes your life so much easier. If I were to use my one for listing information, I want you all to notice this. This one already has their listing marketing information. It has a video already included. It already shows what their branded professional photography is going to look like, as well as a utility provider information form that they can go on ahead and fill out. It makes it so much easier because I'm not having to sit here and go through all of these things. And when they get this information and they click on it, hold on, that's wrong. That's not what I meant to do. Here's already the information on their property. That makes me look amazing. Because they're like, wait a minute, she customized that for me? Yep, sure did. Wink, wink. They get their videos. Their videos are already here. Here's an example of what a listing video will end up looking like. You need your utility provider information that we talked about. Here's the form that I need for you all to go on ahead and complete. It's already here, and it makes it so much easier for us because we're doing a million different things and trying to remember to include something. I don't have to worry about that, not as much, because it's already provided for me. So those are some examples of how you can use those templates just to make things be a lot easier for you. What questions do you have for me in regards to Gmail templates? Is that helpful?
Can you put the QR code up again?
I'm sorry?
Can you put that QR code back up?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that will have the instructions for how to create, as well as the different individual tags that you can use in your business. If for some reason the QR code isn't working, if you type in this URL, it will work. It'll pull up the same thing, so that way you'll have access to it. Does anybody else need for me to leave this up here?
Almost all of them scanned it again, so that should
Okay.
be good.
And then we'll make sure that these resources are sent to you all as well. All right. Go ahead.
Was that of value?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, you can also scan that QR scan to join our referral block. Unintended. As well. Again, she's in Savannah, Georgia. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I actually named my kitty cat Savannah because I went there and it was just a gem of a city. Let's hear it so we know it's of value. For what Tamika did, let me hear like 2 ahas, like 2 takeaways that you had that you're like, whoa. The what? Template.
And the tag.
And the tags, right?
Yeah.
Very specific tag. So I even have tags that says dog lover, cat lover. So that if it was a National Dog Day, I could just go to all the dog lover tags, like everything's in there. Work smarter, not harder.
Is there any limit to how many tags you can put on a?
Not that I'm aware of. Any limit on tags, baby girl?
I have not come across that yet. Now, a part of me wants to say that you know what? I've got to test that. That's a really great question. I have not come across it. However, I feel like I tag people up pretty good. So I'm actually
There's no such thing as too many tags. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I put as much information because I'll tell you, I've had people who call me and they'll say, hey, you and I met at an open house. And then as soon as they tell me their name, for some reason, I can go into my, even if it's on my phone, into the command app, pull up their name. Oh yeah, we met at 186 Parkside. You were with your husband and your son and blah, 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 blah. I get all of that just straight off of tags. And it makes me, they're like, oh, you really do remember. I might remember, but I might really not remember. So using those tags as adjectives.
Absolutely. And that's usually when you have your white space, do your admin work and whatnot to go back to it, right? Just remember, like, do a great retreats. Where did I meet them from? Where they referral from? What do they do for a living? Are they a doctor? Are they also put a tag in for their career? Awesome. Can I get any other 2 ahas from the day? I know this is of value.
My aha was the system around the network stack and the home field advantage. Cause I did that, but at closing, so it wasn't that systematized over and over so that the staff remember you, all of that. I thought that was great. I love it.
It's great. And Tamika could probably tell you just a high D version of what that looks like, because I've been teaching this forever and it's always worked for me. So now when I don't have appointments, like yesterday, I ended with my agents at 5. And I didn't want to go home because I cannot work at home. I don't know about y'all, but I cannot work at home. So I went to one of my home courts and I ended up picking up 3 appointments. Whenever all I have to do is just show up when I don't have an appointment, and I just pop up shop. I'm noticing the girls sitting at the bar with a laptop all the time. And people, it could be a live band in my ear. It does not matter. I love the noise. It does not matter to me. I work better and I always meet people. They always think I'm weird, but like I'm doing my same thing. Business, my name badge is on, I'm getting work done. And if I don't have any appointments, if I'm a brand new agent, I'm going and previewing property, or I'm going to go work out of my home court and I'm going to get business. Period. It never fails.
Tara, did you tell that story?
No, I didn't tell the story because I feel like sometimes when I tell them these things, they don't believe me. So like, I know I did not.
Okay.
Well,
Do you want me to tell the
I know
story?
you'll tell it. You'll tell it.
Tell it? Okay. She's not joking, y'all. She's not. So, it wasn't last year. So in 2022, Tara was, she's so
ID version. You were in South Florida.
Okay. So anyway, so I was at her house, and what ended up happening was she said, hey, I think I'm gonna need to go to my home court. So we end up going to her home court. As soon as we get there, we are literally pulling up and people are starting to spot her car. The valet, before her feet even hit the ground, here's the valet greeting her. 2 other people who are in the parking lot start walking towards her. One of those people ends up being a general manager who's talking to somebody and starts waving. They just spot her based off of the car. And it's not like it's some bright pink color. It's a white car. So we get out, start walking up. The DJ sees her, gives her a shout out. There's a couple people who are in the outside space. They start walking up towards her. Y'all, before we've even set foot into the restaurant, there's already 5 people who are walking towards her. As soon as we get into the restaurant, the hostess seats her exactly where it is that she always sits. So they know exactly how to treat her, like she's saying. One of the servers comes over. And the server, as opposed to even saying anything about menus or whatnot, says, I just want you to know I have the VP of this, the VP of that, and the manager of this place. They're all on the balcony. I've already told them that you're here. Tara gets up from the table. Tara gets up from the table and says, well, I'll be back. And then she goes and she does her thing. All she had to do was literally show up. The servers know who is already there. And because they know you, they just have already made that connection. So all she had to do was just go out there and start having a conversation. It's real. It's very real. It's probably one of the more.
You're welcome to come to my home, just tell me, you just like, give me a day, you wanna flamingo on over, Alligator Alley, and you wanna come hang out and come to my home party, I'll show you it. And again, I told you how I ended up doing it, just be consistent, and just love on people, right? And tip really well in the beginning especially. I still tip well. Now though, because I have so many home courts and I do it so much, and my expenses have increased and yet the money comes, so it's okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys so much, and thanks for having me. You're welcome. It's a long one. I hope it was good.
Amazing. Amazing. You were staying for my housewarming, party class